We don't have to test it, it works every time, so.
Supposedly. So down here, you can start video and mute.
Oh, kinds of video.
So now we're on video, obviously. Start.
Gwen, it's 9 o'clock. If you'd like to start the meeting, we can start. I believe we have a quorum attending from the board members.
But for some reason, my screen is still dark.
Wait a minute, let me do this real quick.
Gwen, if you're there and ready, you can start the meeting.
I'm here, Gary. Can you hear me?
You're very low volume.
Can you hear me
You have to turn the volume up on your mic, I think.
now? Have it up. It's up. I have the volume up.
I can hear you now.
You want me to go ahead and start, even though I can't see anybody? I can start.
Yes, you can go ahead and start.
Okay. Good morning. Welcome to the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology board meeting. Today's date is September 28th, 2020. The time is 9 a.m. We're going to start with roll call. Gwen Bramo, board member. Can I have board members, please?
Board Member Harris here.
This is Kai Stanton, Board Member Treasurer.
Brian Baltazar, present.
Victoria Negretti, present.
Any more board members?
Tia Latrell McCormick, present.
And it was Brian Baltazar, right?
Yes, present.
Okay, wonderful. Can we have roll call from staff in the South?
Gary Landry, Executive Director, present.
Adam Higginbotham, Deputy Executive Director, present.
Andrew Helms, Chief Financial Officer.
Lisa Nguyen, Compliance Specialist.
Leah Easter, Chief Compliance Officer.
Justin Taruk, Deputy Attorney General.
Do we have any board? Do we have any staff up north?
Maggie Adams, Compliance Specialist.
David Scarpelli, Inspector, present.
Rodney Moore, Inspector, present.
Michelle Fanning, Inspector, present.
Pamela Fitzgerald, present.
Okay, did we get everybody? Okay, thank you. We're going to go to the mission of the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology is to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of those that obtain cosmetology-related services through the delivery of quality testing, licensing, inspection, and education service. that focus on consumer protection. Do we have any comments from the general public? Our comments are to be no longer than 3 minutes, and if it's something that's on the agenda, we cannot cast a vote on it. So if you have any comments from the general public, this is the time, the minimum 3 minutes. No comments from the general public? Okay, we're gonna go to agenda item number D, approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from 9/14, please?
This is Tia Latrell McCormick. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from 9/14.
Can we
Brian
get a,
Baltazar, I second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. Our first petitioner, agenda item number E, is it Quan Tron, license number 48038. Are you present this morning? Quan Kim Tran, license number 48038. So do you want us to move this agenda item, or we can go ahead and vote to uphold the decision?
You can vote to hold up the staff's recommendation and disallow the petitioner their petition.
Because this is time. This was moved from September 14th agenda item, right?
Madam
That's
Chair,
correct.
Madam Chair, this is Justin. Hello.
I hear you.
Hey, just a reminder for everyone on the call, everyone's on mute as of right now. So if you have to speak, please make sure just to unmute yourself so that way we can hear you.
But I'm not on mute.
No, just for everybody else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was just a reminder in case you were trying to call them and they were on mute, just to make sure that they double check that they're
Oh,
not.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that. Okay, thank you. So can I get a motion to, can we get a motion? On Quan Kim Tran, license number 48038, please.
Brian Baltazar, I motion to uphold staff's decision on this case.
Victoria Negretti, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Petitioner number 2 is Emily Marie Clymer, license number 32193. Emily, are you present?
I'm here.
Yes, can I have you sworn in, please?
Yes.
You testify that today you're going to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in your testimony?
Yes.
Okay, go right ahead. You can speak to the board, please.
First off, I just wanted to thank you all for your time in making this available virtually and to get us all reopened after COVID. Back in December, we were inspected and we had 8 violations, all for the same thing. Our company is a commission-based salon, and we're working on hiring all brand new students from cosmetology school to get them trained, teach them how to be successful. I paid all of those fines, and a couple of the stylists actually no longer work for our company. One isn't even planning on renewing her license. I'm just asking for some forgiveness on the amount of fines that were due that day. They are all paid, and we have changed the way that we do all of our sanitation in the salon per the suggestion of the state board. When we opened 3 years ago, I was very, very cautious to make sure we followed all sanitation. And I was kind of caught off guard at getting that many violations in one day. And most of the photos, it's just like a single hair and a brush. And I totally understand it's a violation and safety. But I'm just asking for some forgiveness.
Okay, so do we have any questions for Emily from any of the board members? Going twice, any questions from the board members? No questions? Can I get a motion on this matter, please?
President Bramo, if I may, I'd like to review some of the citations. Actually, Ms. Clymer, this is Maggie Adams, compliance specialist, for the record. There were 8 citations issued on that day. They were issued to individuals. Each of those individuals have paid their citations. The one citation that Ms. Clymer has standing for in order to request dismissal or reduction is as follows. If you'll hold on one moment, I will share my screen so we can just review it.
I did pay all of those violations. Nobody in my company paid them.
Moment. Seem to be having. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Thank you. So it's more than one hair and one brush. This is the image of the citation that the inspector took. Each one of these hair brushes have hair on them. You can see as well as being on the blow dryer in the drawer. And there's also hair in the drawer. So that was the reason the citation was issued. It wasn't, again, issued for one hair and one brush.
Thank you, Maggie, for sharing. I have a question for you, Maggie. When the inspectors are inspecting and it's a, say it's a full service salon, I'm not sure, Emily, if it's a commission-based salon or a rental-based salon, do the individual licensees receive a fine or
I'm having a hard time hearing you. If I understand the question, it's if the individual gets cited or the salon. It doesn't matter if it's in rental-based or employee-based. If it goes by the violation, and if the violation is at a station where there is a license posted, the licensee is there, it goes to the licensee. If it is in a general area where there is no license posted, it goes to the salon.
If I may add to that, so our company is a commission all employee-based salon. All of the tools are the salon's tools, so we share tools. So not one tool is anyone's in the salon, which is why I've paid all of them, and I asked today if I could have this meeting against all of the violations, not just mine.
have any questions for Emily before I call for a vote?
I have a question, Board Member Anita Douglas for Emily. Hi, Emily. I would like to know, do you train your stylists as far as on sanitation?
Yes, we
As far
do.
as commission, because I know being a renter, they're more mindful about their license than a commission stylist would be, because they feel, I think some stylists feel that it's on the owner if they're working under them instead of just being a renter.
Yes, we do train on all sanitation, and per the recommendation of the state board after the citation, we have changed all of our sanitation standards.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to call for a motion.
Madam Chair, this is Justin. I think you were saying something, but I don't believe that we were able to hear it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay. So I would like to I would like to call for a motion, please. Hello?
This is Anita Douglas, Board Member. I would like to make a motion and let Emily be forgiven for her citations. Is she being reinstated, or she's just trying to be forgiven for her fines?
Okay, let's just repeat. Let's let Emily repeat one more time what she's asking of the board, and then you look at the information. We can all look at the information that's been presented. So, Emily, can you restate your motion? Can you restate your request, please?
Mm-hmm. I'm asking to be forgiven for part of my fines. I understand that I have a violation and I'm fully responsible for that. But you know, $800 is a lot for a small business who's still just starting out.
This is Kai Stanton, board member, Madam President, if I may. Miss Emily, we really appreciate you coming forward today. Miss Adams has shown several issues regarding every single brush. There's hairs not removed at all. On top of that, the sanitation within the drawer is highly problematic as well. And due to the fact that we are in the middle of a very serious issue, it is required even more so that the bar is to a higher standard to protect our public. And it is our job to protect the public and ensuring that you have already taken the steps to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And we strongly appreciate that. However, the citations do need to stand because there is a stance on making sure the public is safe at all times. I do understand your position, and we appreciate you going above and beyond and correcting that wrong, and that's what we're here to support. And we do applaud that you taking care of that immediately. You did. And going forward, we do look forward to seeing your success. However, that sanitation and what we are viewing right now is highly problematic, in which I am further pointing out you did correct now. But in the view of what I'm seeing, these citations should stand due to based on law that is given. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Board Member Stanton. But we have a motion on the table already. So at this point, Justin, when we have a motion already made by Douglas, do we continue with that motion and carry that through?
So, Board Member or Board Chair Bremo, so this is Justin Trude for the record. So, Member Douglas, did you want to amend your motion, or did you want your motion to continue on?
I wanted to amend it.
Okay, go ahead. You just have to say that you want to amend your current motion and then state what you'd like for your new motion.
Douglas board member, I just wanted to amend my motion and kind of keep the fines as it is.
This is Tia Latrell McCormick. I second the motion to uphold the citations.
In favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. So Emily, the motion carries that the fine that was that what you were cited for by the inspection team is going to stand actually. Ms. Douglas restated her motion. So the fine stands as is. If you have any other questions, you can contact the office if there's not a clear understanding. You have a clear understanding of what just happened?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
Please Nguyen, agenda number 3, petition Lisa Hair Design S-13385. They has been moved to October 12 meeting.
Okay, so we're moving a petitioner Salon 13385 to the October meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 4, petitioner, is it Abiola Malik? License number 44629. Is it Abiola?
Say again, please.
Abiola Malik.
Albulena Malici.
Oh, Abiola, I apologize for that.
No, it's okay.
That's okay. Can we have you sworn in, please?
Say again, please.
I'm going to have you to be sworn in.
Albulena Malici.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you testify that everything you're going to say today is the truth and nothing but the truth during your testimony?
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Abelina?
Yes.
Abelina. Okay. Can you can go ahead and speak to the board.
Okay. I just last 2-3 months, I think I found one paper in my house they bring for reporting something, for doing a open salon or eyelash extension something.
Right, so you're coming to the board today to discuss the citation that was given to ask for that citation to be up. Can you just tell us exactly what you're asking of the board today? And then you can explain yourself, or you can explain yourself, and then you can tell us what you're asking.
I'm just asking if you can apologize or anything for the pay for 2,000. I have to pay 2,000, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're asking the board to waive the $2,000 fine?
Yes, please.
Okay, Maggie, can you?
Certainly. Thank you, President Bremo. I'm going to share the screen again. So there was a citation issued for unlicensed activity on the petition. It was stated that Ms. Malici only works on friends and family. There we go. Can you see this?
Well, yes, we can see now.
Okay, I wasn't quite sure. She wasn't aware that a license is required for services. This is her lash page, her business page, as opposed to her personal page. This is the lash artist behind the chair, December 31st, 2019. Again, direct message me to book. Her Instagram page shows her actually performing services, and again, performing services. So this is the reason that the citations were issued for both unlicensed activity and operating a salon without a license. And there were more I bring a sampling, but there were more images and more invitations to book. So it's up to the board for their decision, but this is what we found and this is what we cited for.
Board members, do we have any questions for our petitioner this morning?
Say again, please.
Board Member McCormack, good morning. I would just like to know why you were doing this without a license.
It's not the license. When it's a one school, the beginning is for doing makeup and lashes, and she said I can work with that. She said you don't have to go to the school.
Can you tell me why you were working in not in a salon without a license?
Say again, please.
Can you explain why you were working in your home without a license? So not a salon license, not a professional license. Could you explain that?
Because I have it from back home, but not from the Vegas.
Okay. So if you have it from home and not in Vegas, why were you doing it in Las Vegas?
Because she said you can do it, and I'm like, okay, and I just got to my friend. That's what I did. And I'd be happy and just posting picture. That's not okay, but that's my.
That is correct. It isn't okay. So I think that's the extent of my questions. Thank you.
Any other board members have any other questions or comments? So Ms. Evelina, I have a question, maybe a comment for you, but maybe a question. Are you aware that you have to have a license from the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology in order to perform lash services?
Say it one more time, please.
Are you aware that you have to be licensed by the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology?
Yes, you have to do it, yes.
You were aware of that from the beginning? You just thought maybe you could get a certificate and it's still
Yeah, I
stands?
got it. I got a certificate.
But now you understand. Do you understand now?
Yes, I do now. I want to go to the school now to get the license.
Okay. Okay, board members.
Board Member Douglas, I would like to know, are you aware of the sanitation problems that you can have at home when you don't really have a license and you haven't studied for lashes?
Sorry, you have to say again. Sorry.
Do you understand the sanitation problems you can have at home other than in a place of business?
Yeah, it's a business, no home.
No, that you can have, like, at home is more unsanitized than if you were at a business when you're constantly sanitizing. So do you understand that problem that the board would have with that? As
Yes.
far as not operating without a license?
Yes.
Okay, so how come you didn't transfer your license?
Because I don't know anything, because I don't have people in Vegas to help me.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
me,
I don't know.
as a licensed operator, I know once I move to another state, I'm gonna need to transfer my license over to that state.
Yeah, I have it, and I have to go to the board. I don't know when they send, but soon it happened, the COVID-19, and I stopped everything.
Yeah, because basically you're on the internet, you're advertising like, okay, come to my place of business, like you're operating out of a business. So to me, I think those fines should stay.
Okay, I just have one question. I'm confused. Evelina, do you have a license or you have a certificate?
I have a certificate from here, but from back home, I have a diploma.
Okay, so board member Douglas, what it sounds like is there's no license involved, just certificate.
Yes, just certificate, yes.
Okay, so we don't issue license for lashes, we just issue certificates?
They're a school, if I may. a school, a quote school, can issue a certificate, or somebody training. If I'm a licensed esthetician and I want to offer a lash class to another licensed esthetician, I can offer a certificate upon completion. Licensing is different, which is what the state board requires. If Ms. Malici has a license in another province, another jurisdiction, another country, then there is the understanding that there is a licensing process that goes on. So I'm unsure why she would not think a licensing process would be required here.
Okay,
Okay. We all clear?
I'm clear.
And you're clear too, Evelina, right?
Yeah, so just I want to see what I can do it after this.
Okay. Okay, so board members, can I get a motion from a board member, please?
This is Tia Latrell McCormick. I'd like to make a motion to uphold the citations in full.
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Just one other question with Evelina. You might want to contact the board office because they might be able to make a payment arrangement. Would that be possible?
Say it one more time, please.
Director Landry.
I'm sorry, I don't hear you. Say one more time, please.
Yes.
Evelina, I'm just trying to find out if you could get some type of payment arrangement to assist you.
Yes, she can apply to the board and we'll set up a payment plan for her, and we can do that through any means possible. So we can set up a payment plan for her fine if she can't pay the fine right now.
Okay, Evelina, would that help you?
Yes, and I'm gonna do like my from become the license. You see, I'm gonna apply in English so I can just make the dream come true.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Okay, have a nice day.
You too. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Agenda item number 5, petitioner Annalisa Jackson, license number C25536. Annalisa,
Hi, yes, I'm here.
can I have you sworn in, please?
Yes, please.
Madam Chair, this is Justin Taruk. Just to confirm, I think you said the wrong license number. I think number 5 is Annalisa Beauty Salon S-187599.
Yeah, you're right. Is it the beauty salon or is it the cosmetology license?
Oh, sorry, Gwen, I think you're breaking up. You're a little choppy again. We can't really hear you.
She read off my personal license number.
Okay.
All right. Do you swear to testify and tell the truth and nothing but the truth during your testimony today?
Yes.
Very good.
Annalisa, you can speak to the board, please.
Hi, yes. First, I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to get on today and for my petition. I am thankful that we can still do this virtually. So I own a salon. I'm owner and operator just by myself in a little tiny town in Caliente, Nevada. And I had an inspector come. I'm sorry, I'm not even sure on the dates when I was inspected, when I got the citation. I had an inspector come in and I was using a pedicure tool that I was not aware that I could not use. I had been using it for, oh gosh, probably 2 or 3 years, and I wasn't told that I couldn't use it. I honestly, it was an honest mistake. I didn't know. And so I was given a citation on using the wrong tool. That tool was thrown away immediately the day that I received the citation. And I'm just asking the board to forgive the fine that I was given. I just was not aware at all that I was not allowed to use this pedicure tool.
Okay, thank you for coming before us today. So Maggie, can you assist us, please?
Yes, so the foot file that was being used, it has a larger hole than a larger grading surface than is allowed. Sometimes I couldn't tell you why it wasn't found prior if it was there. It is a dangerous implement as it can cut the skin, which is against our regulations. It's a slippery slope when we say we didn't know the law. I absolutely understand making a mistake and not being aware and all of those things, but I just want to put it out there that it's a challenge to say that and to have that be an action or a reason for dismissing a citation. It's up to the board, as always, what you wish to choose. There was no compliance review written for this, as it is not anything that's infection prevention. We do not issue compliance reviews. It goes straight to citation, as Board Member Stanton mentioned, especially in these times. So it's up to the board. There was no prior evidence of this foot file being there.
Okay, so do we have any questions or comments from any board members, please?
Board Member Douglas, I would like to ask her if, when you were in beauty school, basically, they kind of like state that, okay, we can only use these implements when we're doing pedicures or manicures?
Yes. So, well, I went to beauty school like 17 years ago, so I'm trying to remember. They didn't tell us necessarily about what pedicure tools we could use and what we couldn't. The pedicure file that I used, that I got the citation for, was kind of similar to what we did use in school, other than, you know, the foot files with just like the sandpaper kind of surface on them. And then we did use a tool that was sort of similar. I also went to beauty school in Utah, and then of course transferred my license in Nevada when we moved to Nevada. So, I mean, of course, laws are different in Utah. So I did use a similar tool, but again, I mean, it's not an excuse. I'm not trying to say that I probably should have checked up, or I just figured that it was okay for me to use it since, you know, I had inspectors there in the past and it was okayed. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So Maggie, can you maybe discuss about how long that particular tool was banned from our state?
I could look up the law as for how long it's been. It'll take me a moment to find that the specific. If you'll give me a moment, I can look it up. But it's certainly been in existence for quite a while. So give me just a moment and I'll check.
Madam President, while Maggie's doing that, if you may, I would like to ask a question to the petitioner to see if they have a law book present, because it is our responsibility to make sure that we are double checking the law and have the current law book, not just within our possession, but within the salon, so that other people may view this information accordingly. So it is very important to ensure that they have this law, so that it's just not, we all know it's not hearsay, but they actually have it with and can see it for themselves, the actual law. So petitioner, do you have a law book present?
No, ma'am, I do not have one. I've never had one. I don't know even how to, honestly, I don't even know how to get one, or no, I have not had one.
Okay. It is very important that you contact the board, if not yearly, or attend board meetings to ensure that you have that information. The board does not send out updated information on laws. It is our responsibility as business holders and license holders to do that. I encourage you strongly to go ahead and print that off. Maybe, okay, you know, when you have time, and it's free. For sure. If it's easier for you, go into the law office and of Nevada State Board of Cosmetology, and you can purchase the actual hard copy, if you will. Either one will work just fine and give you that information, okay?
Okay,
Hopefully
most
that'll help
definitely.
future-wise.
Yes, thank you. I will do that right away. Thank you.
And President Bramo, I apologize for the delay. The two years that are listed next to that license or that regulation is 2008 and 2015. And it is NAC 644A 790. I hope that helps.
When I read in the notes, board member Bramo speaking that this particular tool was purchased at the Professional Beauty Supply. Am I right, Annalisa?
Yes.
So there's two different types of tools that's approved. There's one that's not approved, and there's another one that is approved, Maggie?
I purchased this tool at Cosmoprof in Las Vegas.
And it is a challenge because we also have a regulation against MMA, which is banned by the FDA, but it is also, you can also purchase it through different outlets, cosmetology outlets. So just because something is available for sale doesn't necessarily mean that it is within our requirements. We have no jurisdiction over what stores sell.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion, please? Unless there's any other comments or questions by any other board member. No comments or questions. Can I get a motion, please? Annalisa Jackson. Is it license number 187599 for possible action?
This is Kai Stanton, Madam President. I would like to make a motion to deny the petition of Annalise S-187599.
Can I get a second, please?
That was board member. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Annalisa, you can contact the board office and they can give you the details on how you move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Patient, thank you for coming before us today, please.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. The next petitioner is it Kylie Miranda, license number 101413. Kylie Miranda, you
Yes, hi, I'm present.
please.
I'm so sorry.
We're gonna have you sworn in.
Yes,
Do you swear that the testimony you're to give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Very good.
Okay, Kylie. Can you go right ahead and speak to the board, please?
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat that for me?
I'm sorry, can you go right ahead? You can speak with the board.
Hi, I just also wanted to thank you guys for allowing me to be here and accepting my petition. I am asking the board for forgiveness. I was fined back in March, I would say. I was fined for running a business and operating eyelash extensions without a license. I'm a student and I practice in school. This person that did report me was an old boss, and it was work drama that did not need to happen, and it just went further than necessary. And I'm just here today asking the board for forgiveness because these fines, I believe, I do not deserve because I don't run a business, and I do practice. I practice on my friends and my family, and I understand you do need to carry a license to work on people. But I have knowledge on lashes. I'm in school daily. I do lashes in class as well near my teachers, so they all see them. But today I'm asking for forgiveness for those fines.
Thank you, Kylie. Do we have any questions for Kylie?
Yes, good morning. This is Board Member Harris. For Kylie, so just to get an understanding, you are in school now?
Yes, I'm in school now. I've been in school.
When will you be finishing school?
I will finish on February 16th. I actually started July 2019. So I withdrew myself actually, and I just recently went back. So I was only out of school, I would say, for about 3 months during the pandemic.
Oh, okay. And you were just practicing, but you advertised.
I didn't advertise. I literally have only done my family. I've done school and I've posted the girls and they've been in school in our clinic rooms. But yeah.
Okay, so I think this is a question for okay. Thank you, Kylie.
Thank you.
Question for Maggie.
McCormick. I'd like to hear from Maggie Adams if possible.
Thank you, Board Member McCormick. I'm going to share my screen again. So a citation was issued. The first petition that Ms. Miranda submitted said, I do not run a business and I do not perform services without a license. That was April 15th of 2020. September 15th of 2020, she said, I do not do lashes unless I am on school property. She's correct. She was unenrolled at the school, but she re-enrolled September 21 of 2020. So actually after this petition was submitted, stating that she only does lashes in school, she didn't start until 6 days after that. Here is board information. You see her phone number and her email. That is because it is found on her web page, on her business pages to get clients. That's it. So it ties to her business page. Just as an aside, on September 3rd, I looked at her website. She was still posting September 3rd. Again, her citation was issued back in May. Again, September 3rd, she's posting again for lashes. This is her personal page where she says Beautified by Kai is her business page. Beautified by Kai, Lashes by Kylie. This is where she does lash extensions. She's lash certified. Her citations were issued earlier than May. She now has, after the citations were issued, she had established a new business page. So her previous business page was Beautified by Kai. She was fined for posting on this page. She created a new page after the citations were issued, Lust for Lashes, where she continues to talk about lashes. This is her contact information to book on her business page, which matches her information in NB Cosmo. Again, advertising lash extensions. And these are the reasons why we issued a citation. She also has a Facebook page where she is posting her lashes as well. And one of the things that she states in her Facebook page on February 6th is for those of you who don't have my beauty page. So clearly it's not just friends and family. It's not a personal page. It is a business.
Yeah,
And that even, and my particular point with this, that even after she was issued a citation and even after she petitioned the board on September 3rd, she's still posting.
Okay, Kylie, can you speak?
These are listed under her.
Yes. So a lot of those pictures are actually in school, in clinic, and they are actually wearing scrubs. You cannot tell that because they are up close. And the pictures that I continue to post in September, I actually took those from my Beautified by Kai page and continued to post old ones to show my work. I'm in school. I want people to see. I honestly have been influenced by teachers to make pages to show my work so that once I am done, I can go ahead and do that. And the people who have sent me money, they are family. And I understand I should not be getting paid. I don't ask them to do so. I shouldn't have taken the money, and I should have given it back because I am not a license holder just yet. And I understand that. But I don't own a business. I don't have people coming through my home. I really don't. And I would really love for understanding and forgiveness for that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? But Kylie, but you do understand the position that the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology has to hold, because even on your page, I think I've seen like your personal cell number for somebody to call you, right?
So I actually wholeheartedly, I never knew that my number was on there or my contact information. My contact information, I have my private personal page connected to my beauty page. So all the information that is on my private page, it syncs into mine because they log in and have the same login verification together. So if I lose a password, I can always log in back to my page, my beauty page, with my private personal account, if that makes any sort of sense. But I truly did not know that, and I don't advertise. I don't have it in my bio that to DM me. I don't do that. I just post my pictures that I do for school so that when I'm done with school, I have that portfolio.
Okay. Any board members have any other questions for Kylie?
And I post Lash Artist because that gets more likes, and I want people to see my work that I'm proud of.
This is Board Member Douglas. I don't really have a question. Basically, I would like to say that I think Kylie is, how can I say it? She's mad that she got caught. So she's been fined. I think we need to uphold her fine. And it's not teaching her a lesson, but because she already knew the rules. So Kylie, you just have to do better judgment next time, I think.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I have a question for Maggie. Where it says less for X lashes, and then if you look down on the third row, it says Euphoria Institute. So she's telling people she's in training, lash artist in training. It says it there. So are these people coming to her school, even though she's creating that business page, which connects to her personal page? That would happen. So how did we get the information that this is what she's doing outside of the scope of what's been given by the Institute of Euphoria? Because if they call her and she says, I can book you through Euphoria Institute, so how are we determining that this is what she was doing outside of the presence of an inspector? Because she was working during COVID. I did hear this lash information was prior to her attending school or even enrolling. So I just want to be very clear, because the information I'm seeing and the information I'm hearing seems a little conflicting, just slightly.
Thank you, Board Member Stanton. The Lust for Lashes page, and I'll reshare this screen, was actually posted after she was issued the citation for practicing without a license. So the fact that, and we see that, I see this often when I'm investigating these things, there's a change after the citation is issued, if they still continue to post. So while prior her business page said lash extensions, lash certified, once she got the citation, and when I checked just recently, that's where it says she's in school. Where she also said she was in school in the petition prior to her actually being in school. So the difference is when a student, and we certainly have complaints that are not valid because students will post no information about themselves, they'll post information about how to contact the school and to book directly through the school. Again, these are situations where she's calling them her clients, whether she is, and posting her contact information, because you would have to enter that in if you're creating another page. It asks for your contact information. So
to be further clear, am I not allowed to post my work on social media before I have a license?
I'm sorry, Ms. Kylie, we need to allow Ms. Adams to finish so that I have a full understanding, as well as the rest of the board members, what we're looking at. So it's very important that we do not interrupt the information that's been given. I promise you will be have more than enough time to respond. Thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Adams, please continue.
Thank you, Board Member Stanton. So again, these are people who are listed as clients. She has a Venmo page where she's being paid. Our law states whether she can only perform services on property. If you're looking at some of these, she was not in school while these were uploaded. And she may have been working, even if she only worked at school, she clearly has a business page. She's clearly soliciting clients. And that's why the citation was issued.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. Thank you, Madam President. I turn it back over to you.
Okay, so Maggie, can you recommend how if a student is in beauty school and they would like to share their work? Because I do believe that as educators, the students are told that while they're in school, that they should take pictures and they should post their work, so that once they graduate, they'll be like in the process of building a client base. So is there any like recommendations to students moving forward on how do you promote yourself through the work that you maybe service on your clients?
I think that's a great question. That would be a great resource. I would ask that we have some time to develop that and present it.
Okay, wonderful. Because I think we're going to kind of run into that problem or that situation, because a lot of students do post their work. But when you're soliciting for clients, that's a little bit different than posting your work, because you already have listed the institution where you're attending, the client should be able to come to the institution and ask for you. But when you're posting your work for clients to contact you directly, I think that's kind of where the difference is lying. Am I correct?
Agreed.
Am I correct, Maggie?
I missed some of what you said, but there are students that post, and they post discreetly, and they post where it's clear that they're not offering services. And this just wasn't the case.
Okay. So, any other questions or comments from any of the board members before I call for a motion, please?
Yes, good morning again. This is Board Member Harris. Just probably a comment. Kylie, I don't want you to lose the momentum of your new lash business, but of course, you know, going forward, you have to get a license first and then advertise second. So just in the future, I guess, know that, so hopefully the board will have some leniency on you as starting out your new last business. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Completing her schooling first and then getting licensed, Kylie.
Yes, school, then license, yes, absolutely. Advertise after.
Yes. Okay, Will.
Am I able to say something real quick?
You can say one more thing, Kylie, that's fine.
Okay, I again did want to thank you guys all for letting me speak today and give my side. I wanted to make it known, I'm not mad that I got caught. I'm none of that. I'm a young woman trying to go to school, or I'm not trying, I am in school. I'm training for these things and I'm getting the proper knowledge, and I don't have random people coming into my home. And in those dates that I was never posting like before I ever enrolled into school. I withdrew in April and I went back in September. So I was just posting and reposting pictures that I've never posted before because I didn't have anything to do while I'm sitting at home, and I just wanted to keep up with my Instagram that I have. So I do understand license first and then advertise second. I was always told by my instructor to advertise for the services that I enjoy doing so that when I am out in the real field that I can build this clientele. But again, I understand that I do not have a license and I should not be practicing on people before I do.
Madam President, I think we could call for a vote.
Yes, we can. Can I get a motion, please?
Latrell McCormick, I'd like to make a motion to uphold the citation in full.
Reckless board member, I'd like to second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Sounds like motion carried. Did we get a motion carried?
Was there a board member that opposed?
Yes.
Yeah, if we could get a clarification of who the votes were, this is just for the record. If we could just get if you could just recall the vote, please, Madam President.
Okay, can I get a clarification on the board members? Can we get clarification, I'm sorry, on the board members that uphold this citation?
Brian Baltazar, aye.
Hi, Stanton, aye.
Tia Latrell McCormick, aye.
Reckless board member, aye.
Victoria Negretti, aye.
Motion carried.
Board Member Harris, was your vote in support of upholding the citations or against?
Against.
Against, okay, thank you.
Okay, Kylie, it looks like that motion carried. I'm sure that you can contact the board office for assistance in some maybe payment arrangement if necessary. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Sorry, thank you.
Okay, so we thank you for coming and taking your time out to come before the board. But the motion carried to uphold the citation. But if you need any payment arrangements or some time to pay the fine, you can contact the board office.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Petition number 7, Tom Tran, license number 11933.
Present.
Have you sworn in, please?
All right. First of all, we would just like to thank you for welcoming us here today.
One second. Is there a translator involved?
Can you repeat that, please?
Okay. Do you have a translator involved with Tom Tran?
Yes, I am her translator.
I'm going to have both of you guys sworn in, okay?
All right.
Okay, so Director Landry is going to swear you in.
Do you testify that everything that you're going to tell today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, tell the truth thing. Yes.
Okay, and do you testify that your translation will be only the truth and nothing but the truth on what she's saying?
Yes.
Very good.
Go right ahead. You can explain to the board.
Okay, so I think I get the file is not correct because when the inspector come and and when he in the bathroom he wash his hand, and outside I wash my hand too, and when he get out he go in the room, I follow in the room for him if he needs something to ask, and I can speak to him, and then he tell me, okay, you can go take care of your client. And I go take care of the client. I go to the club. I take anything for take care of the client. And I don't know. He took a picture behind me, and then he sent me the email. I don't wash my hand when I take care of the client, but I do when I wash my hand. He inside the bathroom. He wash my hand. I outside. I wash my hand. He don't know I wash my hand, and he get out, and I just follow him in the door. And he tell me I don't wash my hand. I don't know. But I think that's it's not correct for me.
So she's saying that her citation was her failing to properly wash hands before and after servicing each client. So the inspector who was there, he went into the bathroom to wash his hands. Like he closed the door, but there was also a 2-compartment sink outside of the restroom for customers and other people to wash their hands, and that's where she washed her hands. And then after that, he came out the restroom to go to the storage room to check out stuff in there. And she followed him in there to ask if he had any questions. And then he said no, that she should leave to go take care of her client. So as she left and she put on her gloves, she already washed her hands like literally like 30 seconds before that. And then he took a picture of her right here and say that she didn't wash her hands. But that's not a picture of her not washing her hands. That's just a picture of her reaching for towels. So that's our stance on it.
Okay, so.
If I may, board president Ramo, the issue wasn't that she washed her hands prior to putting on her gloves. The issue was that she had her gloves on. She was setting up her stations with her gloves on and then began to work on the client. So she had touched numerous things in the salon in the process of setting up her station with gloves on, but those gloves were then basically contaminated because she had been touching other things, didn't put a new set of gloves on, and then commenced working on the client.
Oh, okay. I wash my hand and then he tell me go take the client and then I get the glove on, I get the towel and I just become my kind of neck right there. I just take care of her. I don't touching anything.
All she touched was the towel that she used for the client. So nothing else. It was just a towel.
Mm-hmm.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I have a question for Ms. Adams. So if someone washes their hands, put their gloves on, opens the drawers, because it has to stay sanitized, opens the drawers to get their implements out with gloves on, because their hands has to remain clean at all times, because that's one of the ways that the coronavirus is transferred is from hand to mouth to eye. So we have those gloves there. So if we're washing our hands, we have some sanitizer, we slide our gloves on and proceed to get our sanitized implements out of those drawers. Someone pulls out a comb and persists to comb someone's hair. Are you saying that after they touch the drawer and touch their implements, they have to wash their hands again, put on a new set of gloves, and then proceed the service?
So the process should be, and that's a great question, the process should be the station gets set up, hands get washed, client gets touched.
Do the pedicure.
The station, I have gloves on, I'm going to set up my station and then just go to touch the client without sanitizing my hands first. The final step before touching the client should be sanitizing, washing your hands. Because anything that she touched within that process of setting up her station, moving her cart, all of those things, the potential for cross-contamination, that's where it's going to happen. So her tools absolutely should be clean, implements should be clean, she can touch her implements, but when you're setting up the station, that's where the challenge lies.
So you expect everyone to set up their station and then wash their hands and then go back to their station, put on their gloves, and then start their service.
Or have the gloves at the station where they put on your gloves, or have hand sanitizer to sanitize your hands before you touch the station. The idea of walking through as you're setting up your station and touching what they call high touch areas, that's where the challenge for cross-contamination can happen, because somebody may not have washed their hands when they touch that. Does that make sense?
Not really, because
properly.
The public should not be touching a cosmetologist, a nail technologist. No one should be touching that area, the sanitation area, your drawers. Those also should be sanitized after every single time with a, Lysol, what have you. So when, for example, if I touch a drawer, I spray immediately. When I touch a light, I spray immediately. But if someone's there and I'm walking away from just spraying something down, no one would know that that was just sprayed prior to. So it's a little, because I see her gloves on and I see her reaching into a closed cupboard. I see the implements in her hand. You know, I don't, you know, and every single person in the salon has a shield on and a mask on.
Yeah.
And I also see the floor looks great.
There were no other citations. Absolutely, there were no other citations issued other than the licensee did not wash her hands before beginning the service, and that's what is required.
Because I washed my hand already.
I'm sorry, Ms. Tran. Please allow Ms. Adams to finish. If you would
So-
like to speak, they will. We will allow you to do so. You'll have plenty of time, I promise. Okay. The board needs to have full understanding of what's happening because this may affect everyone across the board. So we need to have clarification from Ms. Adams. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
So there are two sections to a service, as you know. One is the setup and preparation, and the other is the actual performing the actual service. The requirement is that you wash your hands before performing the service. And that's what didn't happen. And that's all, that's what the inspector saw. That's what the inspector wrote up. If you wish to grant the petition, that's totally within your realm. All we're saying is there was a setup, there was a service, there was no washing hands before the service.
Before any decisions are made, Ms. Adams, I want to make sure that I'm voting the correct decision because, as you stated, we do have a very serious issue regarding virus, and not just the virus. You know, there's way other things that can, you know, MRSA and all that other wonderful diseases that are out there. So I just want to make sure when I'm making statements on record across the board, when anyone reviews records, that they are receiving the right information on process. And I know we require hand sanitizer, bleach spray, Lysol, disinfectants to make sure that these bacteria are killed with barbicide, all that wonderful things that we have available. And it's slightly challenging for me because the hand sanitizer, she could have hand sanitized, and as she stated, she watched prior to. Those drawers should not be available to the public and could have possibly been sprayed down. As you said, there's no other issue there, which speaks to a great testament to how well they take sanitation seriously. So, you know, I would like to, sorry, go ahead, Ms. Adams, I apologize.
No, I was not. Go ahead.
Oh, so I would like to turn it over to Madam President, and if any other board members have a comment at this time.
This is Board Member McCormick. I actually share a position with Board Member Stanton. What I see here is a salon that's actually trying to meet a standard. I think we're seeing a snapshot in time. If there's a protocol or something that needs to be addressed, I think that it could be done and we could give them the opportunity to self-correct before. That's just my opinion, because what I see is a salon in compliance with the standards and the procedures overall. And I think that the when to disinfect or sanitize your hands while wearing gloves and all of those things is, I don't believe that we should cite them for this reason. So I just share the position that I think overall what we're seeing is a salon who's trying to be in compliance. And so I just wanted to put that on record.
This is Douglas, board member. I also agree with McCormick and Stanton in this situation.
Okay, so at this time, if there's no other comments or questions by any other board members, can I get a motion, please?
Madam President, this is Board Member Stanton. I would like to uphold the petition for Ms. Tran to have all citations dismissed.
This is Board Member McCormick. I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Tran, thanks for coming before the board today. Do you understand that it's been dismissed? Okay. Agenda item number 8, Vera James, license number 44525. Do we still have Vera James? I'm calling for practitioner Vera James, license number 44525. Can we put this one off? This is Board Member Bramo. I did see Vera James earlier. I'm not quite sure what happened. Is there any way we can put this off if she doesn't come before it's over to the October meeting, please?
Madam President, this is Justin. Yeah, we can table her until and call her back again if you want to continue on with the next one.
Okay. Petitioner number 9 is Singh Nugent. License number 11430. Question. This was rescheduled from the September 14th meeting. So have we seen petitioner Singh Nugent?
Madam Chair, if you want to call for a vote to have this dismissed, it's up to you guys.
Yes. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Okay, no Singh Nugent. Can I get a motion, please?
This is Kai Stanton, Madam President. I would like to make a motion for partitioner license S-11430 to uphold the citation.
It's Douglas, Board Member. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Board Chair Bramo, this is Leah Easter, Chief Compliance Officer. It appears that Ms. James is back on the call. If you wanted to hear that one, why she's available.
Yes, we can. Petitioner Vera James, license number 44525. You want to speak to me this morning?
Yes. Hello?
Can cause serious allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis. Get help right away if your rash, shortness of breath, chest pain, tingling. Tell your doctor.
Hello? I can't hear you guys. Hold on. Go on out there. Go on out there so Grandma can do this. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. I gotta step outside because of kids.
All right, Ms. James, can you hear us any better now?
Hello?
Hi, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Can I have you sworn in, please? It's Vera James. That's license
Yes.
number 44525.
Ms. James, do you swear to testify and tell the truth and nothing but the truth during your testimony today?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. James, you can speak to the board, please.
Hi, and I just want to thank everybody for taking the time and allowing me to speak. What I'm asking for is for my license to be renewed. I was in prison when I obtained I was in a New Path. I graduated the New Path Expertise Cosmetology program at FMWCC. And I'm looking forward to working. I did make a bad choice, and I drove my car recklessly, and in the midst of it, I hit somebody. I thank God I didn't take their life. But I learned from my mistakes, and I'm just asking for a second chance.
Okay, do we have any questions from any other board members? Questions or comments? No questions or comments? Can I get a motion, please?
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to uphold the citation for Ms. Vera Ellen on C-44525 to allow her to work with the public with the understanding that she will receive the law book and follow all guidelines and regulations.
Ms. Douglas, board member, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, this is Justin. Before we proceed with that, I don't believe that there was a citation. It was an application for her to get her license.
To renew her license. So
The
just to,
application, right?
okay, so just to clarify then, Secretary Treasurer Stanton, you meant that you're okay with her renewing her license and going back to work. Is that correct?
Yes, to oppose her petition. Did I say citation? I apologize. Would you like me to amend that?
Please.
Yes. I would like to amend the last motion. If it pleases the board, I would like to make another motion, Madam President, to uphold the petition of, I apologize, Ms. Vera Ellen, C-44525.
Board member Douglas, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. James. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lisa Wing, compliance specialist, agenda item number 10. They would like to move to the later meeting.
Okay, so we're gonna move agenda item number 10. Is it Nicolette?
Yes.
Nicolette?
Yes, for New York Hair Code, license number S-8966.
Okay, no problem. Petition number 11, is it Ellen Brower? License number C-25233, petitioner Ellen Brower.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Can I have you sworn in, please?
I'm sorry, you're cutting out.
Can I have you sworn in, please?
Yes, please.
Ms. Bauer, do you testify that what you're going to tell today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good.
So just let me say, this is my first board meeting I've ever sat on, and it has been very interesting. And I have actually learned quite a bit. The reason I'm here today is on December, I don't even know. It was in December of 2019 that I got a citation for my herbicide not being up to level in my Barbicide jar. I had flown to PDX on December 5th for a vacation, so I was out of the salon. Prior to me leaving the salon, I cleaned my station. I put Barbicide in my jar, closed my lid. Sometime during me being gone, somebody must have borrowed a comb because the Barbicide lid was off when the photos were taken during the inspection. When I came back to work, I was told that State Board had been in and they did an inspection, and I received a fine for my Barbicide not being completely filled. However, if you look at the pictures and the amount of combs that are in my Barbicide jar, due to weight and measures, had you put the lid back on the jar, the Barbicide would have lifted up to the correct amount. And I don't think I should be paying the fine. However, I have paid the fine because during the COVID thing, I kept on getting emails to pay it. I didn't know what was going on. I never got a letter that my petition had been accepted. So that's why I went ahead and paid the fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Maggie, can we hear from you, please?
Absolutely, thank you, Board President. The citation was issued because of a Barbicide jar not being filled all the way and the contents not being covered. Hold on one moment, you all see the image in, hold on. It's in your board pack, you can see the image there. When the inspector goes in, again, they don't know what the reason behind the citation occurring. It's the fact that the citation occurred, that there's a violation. So they issue a citation based on the violation. It takes 10 minutes, as you all are aware, of Barbicide immersion to sanitize. The combs were clearly not covered. The lid clearly was not on. Again, the reasons behind this happening is not up to us to decide, does that make that violation okay? It's just that the violation was there. Like the reason for speeding doesn't play a part into your ticket. The reason for the violation is not up for the inspectors to decide. So that's why the citation was issued.
Okay.
Well, to segue off of that a little bit, while it's absolutely accurate, it's not up to the inspectors to make that determination. They record a violation. That is their responsibility. That is what they do. It is up for us to decide the surrounding circumstances for that violation. And so if I can speak to the petitioner, Ms. Brower, you said you had indicated that you were not present while this violation was in place. Do you have anything that would show where you were that kind of corroborates what you're telling the board, just so we have something that would validate your claim?
I have my flight ticket. I have my itinerary from Frontier and Spirit Airlines showing that I flew out of Las Vegas to PDX on December 5th, and then I returned from PDX to Las Vegas on September 9th. Like I stated, I don't know what day that the inspector came in because I was not present. And the first day back from my vacation, I was told that State Board had come in and issued a fine.
Thank you. Are we able to confirm that the violation took place within the time frame that she was not present?
The citation was issued 10/2 of 2019. Oh, I apologize. That's the wrong one. I apologize. 12/16 of 2019.
And I'm sorry, can you repeat your dates, Ms. Brower?
Well, I was on vacation. I left December 5th and I returned, I believe, on December 9th, but I did not return to the salon until December 17th.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I have a question for Miss Elaine. The coffee mate, the bag that you see back there, all of those combs, that's an awful lot of combs. There's a towel on top of the station. My concern is if you're gone that long, why would there be so many implements? And also, why is there a towel there collecting debris and hair? There's also a bag full of products and coffee mate just laying there, which is also problematic. And I know inspectors cannot inspect. It's a little bit of a challenge, and it doesn't sound like they are inspecting while services are being done. I'm okay with inspectors giving inspection while the owner or manager is present, making sure that the inspector can get into areas as they need it. My problem is the area doesn't necessarily reflect that no one was working there. And furthermore, all of those implements should have been completely gone if that's your station and area. If you're subject to others utilizing your station, that might be something that you want to take a sobering look at, being a business owner and a license owner, to protect your environment and your business. So those are the things that concern me. If I'm looking at an empty container with a solution to the brim of maybe one comb and nothing on that table, even all your implements, including this holder here for your dryer or your curling iron, all those items should be properly put away. And to have edible items, such as a coffee mate, in a section where you're working, that can be, it's a violation. That's a concern there, as well as the filthy towel that's laying on the station. So they completely set up at your station is what you're telling me? They fully used your station the whole time you were gone. I just want to be clear because I'm only going off of what I'm seeing.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. So I do not own the salon. I rent a space at the salon. I am at Salon Static. Let me just take a breath before I say something that I'm gonna regret. So the hairdryer holder that is on my station had broken off, and I asked the manager or salon owner to replace it. The salon owner is never there. They do not practice there. She is not licensed. Neither one of them is. The towel that is under there, I changed that towel when I left for vacation because the barbicide, these things, these containers were purchased from IKEA. If I put the barbicide on that, the barbicide will bubble up the paint and it will adhere. We've tried that. It doesn't work. So there is a towel under there. As for the other debris, yes, that was probably my fault. I have changed my practices since I've gotten back. There is no debris on my counter. only hand sanitizer and hand lotion. Coffee Mate, I'm not sure. We are a very close knit group. And yes, we do work at each other's stations every once in a while when we were really busy. This is prior to COVID. So there were times where we would have 2 or 3 clients back to back, or processing, doing a haircut. So yes, sometimes people would borrow my station while I was out. I now no longer leave my Barbicide out. When I leave the facility after my day of work, I put my stuff completely away. I do not leave anything out. I may leave my blow dryer out, but I also have another caddy that has a holder. All my stuff is now locked up completely. So there has been, especially since COVID has happened, there have been changes that we have taken prior, you know, we have, as stylists, have made. The owner has not provided us any type of sanitation. We have provided it all. I work in a grocery store also. So prior to our salons opening up again, I purchased bleach, Lysol wipes, sanitizer. We have a cabinet of sanitation that is under lock and key. I have the key. Another person also has the key. So things have changed at my station and all around the salon.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. I just want to make sure you're, but Ms. Allen, I just want to be clear. So you have made significant changes because you do understand this is not the level of sanitation that's required for your business. And because you're not on commission and you do booth rent, you're required to uphold the law for sanitation, giving services to the public, and making sure that those requirements are met, which you yourself have stated you have done so. So I am, from what I'm hearing, you're saying this is not your level of sanitation, and you've done the work above and beyond to make sure moving forward that things are locked up accordingly and that things are done by law. So I just wanted to be clear on that fact for the board as well. Thank you. I turn it back over to you, Madam President.
If I may, Madam President,
Maggie.
one of the concerns that this image presents is that the contact time for Barbicide, as you know, is 10 minutes. And that Barbicide should be replaced every 24 hours. So the fact that if I'm leaving on vacation for more than 10 days or 10 days or 2 days, or that Barbicide is no longer working, it should have been replaced within a 24-hour period. And the combs only needed to be in there for 10 minutes for sanitizing purposes. So it's just something else I want to put out there that is a concern that's generated from this picture.
Miss Adams, if she had a container with a lid on top, and it was a nice size container with a lid completely covered and all her implements were emerged in, that is considered compliant as well, correct?
That is considered compliant unless there's debris within that container.
Oh, you just made a very good point. Okay, so if I'm combing hair and we've washed and sanitized, and sometimes those hairs get caught in my brushes or what have you, and I merge it into my Barbicide, and that hair actually comes out. Within 10 minutes, I'm taking it out. Within that time, maybe an inspector comes in, and before I can pour my Barbicide out, there is debris at the very end because it came off of my combs. Is that considered a fine?
So if the person is in the process of cleaning their station, we're not going to issue a citation if they're in the process of cleaning their station. If they're in the process, as President Bramo mentioned, I believe it was, if they're during a service, we're not going to interrupt the service. If they're using the implements, we're not going to cite them for, this was clearly sitting there unattended.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. I would just like to, for public record, to give and make sure that certain things are clarified for the public. I appreciate you, Ms. Adams.
Okay. At this time, Ms. Douglas, you had a comment or question?
I have a question for Ellen. I wanted to know, were these items at your station when you came back?
Yes, ma'am. This is when I came back, that is exactly what my station looked like.
So your coworkers just disregarded the sanitation of the shop?
There are, so prior to this, prior to COVID, I should say, there are certain coworkers that, yes, you know, they would leave my stuff out, or they would borrow it and not put it back, or, you know, like I said, the lid was left off. I know I had cleaned my station prior to leaving, because when I came back, I would go back right back to work, you know. So since the reopening of the salon, certain people have left, and they were the main people who had disregard by borrowing stuff and leaving it out, or opening the jar and leaving, you know, the combs open. So there has been a great deal of change in the salon environment, and certain people have left, and it has gotten a lot better. So, you know, creamers are no longer on stations. We do that in the back because we're not allowed to have open containers or drink in that area, you know, work area, because of the COVID. We have to wear masks. So, you know, bag, I don't know what the bag was from. I have no idea, because I hadn't been there. I know I did not purchase anything from Cosmoprof prior to me leaving, because I had no use for it. So I don't know about the bag. The green bag that you see sitting under, that did have Malibu treatments in it, that I know I was using, and one of my other coworkers were using during the time that I was gone. So it got left out.
I understand that. And earlier you stated that you guys share stations sometimes, and I'm thinking those are the chances that you take when you guys share stations and the other one doesn't clean up behind themselves.
We are no longer sharing stations due to, you know, COVID, and we're only allowed to have one client in there per stylist. So there's no need to utilize another station.
Correct. That's for future reference.
Yes. So now things have changed.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. Oh. Sorry, Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I'm ready to make a motion if it appeases the board.
Motion, please.
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion to uphold citation for Miss Melissa on C-41813.
Board Member Douglas, I second that motion.
Member Stanton, this is Justin Terry, just for the record. I think you might have misspoke as far as the petitioner. I think you said Melissa Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it's Ellen S. Bauer, C-25233. Did you just want to confirm that was the one that you were talking about?
Can you clarify that, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I would like to amend my first motion and make another motion for Miss Ellen on C-25233 to uphold the citation and dismiss the petition.
Douglas, board member, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Brower.
Thank you very much for your time. Like I said, it's been a very enlightening last hour and a half. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, this is Lisa Nguyen, compliance specialist. For the next two agenda items, 12 and 13, Melissa Snyder and Zhang Lu C-35787. Both of their petitions have been moved to the later meeting.
Okay, can I just have one question? So we're moving petitioner number 12. Petition number 13, we're not moving that one, are we?
Yes.
I believe that Lisa said that they wanted to be moved. Madam
Okay, can we make sure this is like maybe the last time, because they were moved from last time?
Madam President, I believe that number 12 requested it beforehand to be moved.
Both of them.
Oh, and 13.
Yes, okay. I would like for us to move petition number 12 to the October meeting. Petition 13, the last time moving.
I'm sorry, Madam President, you were breaking up. We can't really hear. We couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Presley.
Petitioner number 12, which is the Melissa Snyder, license number 41813, be moved to October 12th meeting.
Yes.
Petitioner 13 is Gong Lu, license number 35787. Can this be the last October 12th meeting opportunity for them to present?
The board can decide that if it wants to, Madam President. It can deny it if they don't show up that time.
Okay, can I just make a comment to the board? Petitioner number 13 moved from September 14th meeting to the September 28th meeting. Would the board like to move them one more time?
Brian Baltazar, I'm open to moving it one more time, but this would be a final notice. We can't just, petitioners have to understand that we can't just keep on delaying their petitions if they're not able to make their petition hearings.
And if I may, all of these petitions have been moved from the previous board meeting. Each of them requested to be on the next.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so both. Petitioner number 12 and 13. All those petitions that were moved from September 12th to the 28th, I would like to have a motion, please, for those to be moved.
Madam President, you don't have to have a motion to move them. We could just move them.
I know, but I want to be able to make a motion where they won't be able to keep moving them.
Oh, okay.
Brian Baltazar, I motion to move the petitioners. This is their final delay.
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. So can we be clear again what we just did? Can you help us with that, Lisa? I mean Maggie, who's going to help us with that to make sure that we have an understanding?
Board Chair Bramo, this is Leah Easter, Chief Compliance Officer. I've been in contact with a number of these petitioners, petitioner 13 in particular. So I can let her know when we talk next that if she can't make it to this next meeting that the petition is just going to be heard as is based on the information she provided.
That was for the petitioner number 1213.
Yeah, I'll reach out to all of them and let them know.
Wonderful. Thank you, Leah.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, we're going to agenda item F, Law Review Subcommittee and selection and possible re-election of committee members for discussion and possible action. So the board will select dates for law review meeting possible, revisit, and re-vote on the law review subcommittee members. Can we do that today?
Board Chair Bramo, this is Leah Easter here with our DAG, Justin Taruk. Just to point a couple things out to you all before you vote. So you did vote on committee members last meeting, except you decided on a full board. You can do that if you'd like to, but then as Deputy Attorney General Justin Taruk mentioned, then you have to have a lot more members for a quorum. So if you want to keep it as a full board, you may, but we also phrased it here that if you wanted to actually just select committee members, you may do that too. Additionally, you only really have to select one date for law review today. And then during law review, before the meeting closes, you can select your next date from there. That might be a little easier than trying to select all these different calendar dates.
Okay, so, okay, Leah, can you repeat that? Let me restate, and you tell me if I'm correct. So today we're going to select the dates for the upcoming law review committee. Are we going to vote, or we're going to keep the same, or can we add additional subcommittee members?
That's correct. You're breaking up a little bit there, but your last meeting, you had selected the full board to be a committee member. You can keep it at that if you'd like, or you can actually just choose committee members. Everybody's still allowed to participate, whether you're on the committee or not. Just to point out, it's still an open meeting. So if you show up, you can participate fully, whether or not you're a voting member. And then you're cutting off a bit here, but I think today, per Justin's suggestion, if you just select one date for law review, you can select your future dates at that law review meeting. So that way you don't have to think of one date right now that works for all of you.
Okay, wonderful. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Not that well.
Gwen, I also want to mention that if you have less than the full board, it may be helpful so that you don't have to have a quorum of the board to show up. If the board members want to all show up, that's perfect. But if you have just like maybe 3 members or 2 members or however many members less than the full board, it might be easier to hold meetings and not have to have a quorum when you show up. So that would be my suggestion. Keep the number of people on the committee from the board at a minimum, and then any board member can attend. But those 3 or 4 would be required to attend if you want to have a meeting.
And to reiterate again, per our Attorney General Justin, so the decisions aren't going to be made in subcommittee anyway. Subcommittee is just bringing it before the full board. So you all as a 7-committee board will be making the final decision on anything done at law review, just so you understand. So even if you're not at the subcommittee, it doesn't mean you still don't get to ultimately vote on what's going to become law or not.
Right, exactly. It still has to go before the full board for approval.
That's correct, Madam Chair.
Okay, so can we do this? Could we select the date for the law review committee meeting, the first meeting? And at that time, we can appoint how many board members will be attending, and those that want to attend could attend, and we still don't have to have a quorum.
Madam Chair, this is Justin Taruk for the record. Because the board is the authorizing body of it, the subcommittee can't choose how many members it would have to do. That number would have to be delegated by the full board itself.
So we have to do that today?
Yeah, you'd have to select how many subcommittee members you'd like today.
Okay. Okay, so I would like to ask the board members how many members that would like to participate in the law review subcommittee.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I would like to be a member on that subcommittee.
Latrell McCormick, me too.
Brian Baltazar, hi as well.
Board Member Harris, also.
Okay, so I think what I would do is, as far as I would like to be on the committee, but I don't want us to have a quorum. So can I just say, Justin, that I would just be a member just attending?
President Bremo, that's correct. So what the board can do is set up the subcommittee as a 4-member subcommittee. with the ones who just volunteered. Again, any other board member, including yourself, can participate in the subcommittee. You just wouldn't consider yourself a specific member of that subcommittee, but you can fully participate in all the discussions, just like it would be like any other open meeting where the public is welcome to talk. And it would be noticed and it would be subject to the open meeting law as well.
Okay. Okay, so we have 4 board members that will be participating in the law review committee. And those board members will, at this time, can we set the date for the first meeting with those 4, and any other board members that want to attend could actually attend those meetings?
That's correct, Madam President. The thing that I would recommend for a clear record would be to have 2 motions today then on the subcommittee. The first one is to amend the number of committee members, and those committee members, and then just list out the 4 names. So Member McCormick, Member Stanton, Member Baltazar, and Member Harris. So that would be your first motion if that's the way that the board would like to have it, the composition of the subcommittee. And then the second motion that I would recommend is just to have the date of the first subcommittee meeting set today.
Okay, so can I get a motion to
Madam Chair, you're breaking up again. If you could just repeat that, please.
Slightly.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's still the same.
Yeah, it's a little better, but it's still a little grainy, or a lot grainy.
I'm sorry, I think we've lost you completely.
We can hear you a little bit, Madam President. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
If you're on speaker, I don't know, maybe take it off speaker? I don't know.
You want me to cut my speaker now?
We can hear you.
We can hear you better.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me better now?
It's a lot better than before.
Okay, oh gee. Okay.
Not well.
Really? Oh, I might have to go to my iPad. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so do you want me to make the motion, the board members that we amend the motion for the board members that will be members of the law review subcommittee? Do I make that motion? Or do another board member make that motion?
Anybody make
You would call for the motion and anybody on the board could make that motion.
Okay, so I would like to have the motion amended for the 4 board members that will be attending the law review subcommittee.
Before we do, can I gain just a bit of clarification on what the restrictions for attending board members that are not committee members, what they are not and what they are allowed to do if they do attend that meeting? I'm assuming that they have no voting ability on anything that comes before the subcommittee.
That is correct, Member Baltazar. So they would still be able to make their comments and provide their input at the time of the meeting. The only thing that they wouldn't be able to do is vote as a member of that subcommittee, but they'd have every other option to provide their opinion.
But we will have options at that time when it's presented to the board.
That's correct. So what happens is that the subcommittee will meet and then they'll make some recommendations that they'll provide to the full board at the full board meeting. And that's when all of the 7 of the board members of the cosmetology board can decide whether or not to accept those recommendations from the subcommittee.
Okay. Can I get a motion, please?
Brian Baltazar, I motion to accept the 4 board members as members of the law review subcommittee.
Ty Stanton, I second that motion.
I believe that we need to make the board members' names needs to be presented.
Yeah, if you could list them out, Member Baltazar, that'd be appreciated.
Okay.
Let me amend that motion. I would like to nominate, or I'm sorry, Board Member Stanton, Board Member Douglas, Board Member McCormick, and myself to serve on the Law Review Subcommittee.
Member Baltazar, I believe instead.
Yes, so the members are board members Stanton, Baltazar, McCormick, and Harris. I think.
Oh, Harris, I'm sorry. Unless you'd like to serve, Douglas.
Can you restate your motion, please, Brian?
Yes. Apologies. This is Brian Baltazar. I would like to motion for myself, Board Member Stanton, Board Member Harris, and Board Member McCormick to serve on the Law Review Subcommittee.
Can I get a second?
Yeah, Latrell McCormick, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. So I would like to get a second motion on the date, because we need to get a date scheduled for the Law Review Subcommittee first meeting.
And because we have to notify the public that we're having these meetings, we need to make sure that there's enough time to do that. So we have to make sure that we have the 3 days that we need in order to notify the public. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, I have one other question for you too, Director Landry, before we set a date. My question, when the Law Review Subcommittee meetings begin, do we set them up just like a board meeting, or will that Law Review Committee control their own meeting?
The Law Subcommittee would control their own meetings. They will vote on things that is brought before them. They'll set the agenda for the future meetings as what's going to be heard and what's not going to be heard. But what they're going to do at the end of the meetings, when they're going to present everything they've heard to the board, they're going to say, these things were presented and not voted for. They weren't voted to bring before the board further. These things were voted on. We thought they were worth taking into consideration. We should move forward with these. But the board can take and review and add anything at that meeting that they want to. They don't have to listen to the board Law Subcommittee, but it'd be advisable if they did, because the Law Subcommittee is going through all these different people coming before them. But the Law Subcommittee does what they're going to do. The board still has the final right to approve or not approve, pull up or not pull up anything that comes before the Law Subcommittee or not.
Brian Baltazar, so given that the subcommittee is going to, in a sense, act independently from the full board, would it be wise to have someone, for us to select someone to chair that board?
You can either do that today, or you can do that at the meeting. Just hold a quick vote, who wants to be chair, vote for it, and that person's now chair. Or you can have rotating chairs. You can do whatever you want on the Law Subcommittee.
And board members, just to confirm everything, this is Justin Chug again. Everything that the Law Subcommittee does with all their meetings, they have to comply with the open meeting law. So all the board training that we did with open meeting law, as far as what Director Landry was saying about the 3 days notice has to be in there. Public comment periods have to be in there. Statements about what's going to be discussed at those meetings, it has to be in the notice, etc.
Okay, so I would like to make sure that
I'm sorry, President Bramo, we can barely hear you again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
That's a lot better, thanks.
Okay, so I would like to have a motion for a date to start the first Law Review Committee Subcommittee meeting. Let's look at your calendars.
And that law subcommittee cannot be October 12th because that's already an assigned board meeting. That's the only date that's a non-meeting date for the law subcommittee.
Director Landry, can it be a date that's not on a Monday?
It can be any day of the week that the law subcommittee is willing to meet.
Okay, wonderful.
Madam President, I would like to suggest November 2nd.
That would fall on a Monday.
Yes, it falls on a Monday after the October 12th meeting, which gives some time for staff if anything needs to be done or set forth due to the many things that we have on our plate.
I believe the first meeting appears to me will just be a meeting that the board members actually decide who's going to chair, what are some of the, so Director Landry, are you going to make this public announcement where the public can actually participate in the law review subcommittee as well?
Yes, the law subcommittee will allow anyone from the public to come and present things that they think need to be changed in the law, things that they need to have, things that the law needs to reflect. And this is the law, you had made mention about the law subcommittee. You in the past have said it's the laws and regulations, so they can bring up law changes, they can bring up regulation changes, anything that they think needs to be heard and would need to be changed. So those things would be mentioned in the first meeting. Then subsequent meetings, you'll actually hear specific information on those particular items. So the first meeting is more an organization meeting, like you said, choose a chairman, choose who's gonna, how the meeting is gonna be run. Also select from the topics that are presented, what is gonna be on the next meeting. You can listen to 5 topics, 10 topics, 50 topics, however many topics you wanna listen to would then be decided at that meeting, and the meetings would go forward from there.
Yes, can I make a recommendation that the law review subcommittee maybe possibly meet before November 2nd because it's getting close to the holidays and legislation. There's a timeline that this has to be submitted.
Madam President, is it just a suggestion to ask operations what would be a good time after October 12th that they would be able to get the agenda together and done upon the completion? Because then that gives them 2 weeks. The 26th falls in 2 weeks of October.
I'm just making that, board member Brahma, I'm just making that recommendation because I know that we're not quite sure how much information that you guys will be receiving and have to look through and decipher through. So.
Oh, good point. Yeah, good point.
It could take some time. November, you might have 1 meeting. It's the holidays. December, you might have 1. But there's a time that this has to be submitted to the legislative committee. Am I right, Director Landry?
That's correct. You have to hear all the different things that need to be changed, make sure that you're comfortable with that. These would have to be presented at the January board meeting, hopefully, and would be reviewed at that time. If you need more time, we don't have to have anything at during this legislative session. We can be preparing things for the next legislative session. So I wouldn't be so concerned about the timing on what you want to get done, as long as you get it done in a timely manner. It doesn't have to be done, real quick if you want to do it not this legislative session but the next. But anything you want this legislative session, I would say you need to work on and get done before the January board meeting.
So the next legislative, after this session, won't be for another 2 years.
That is correct.
Do we know when the dates are, the final dates to submit BDRs to the Legislative Bureau Council?
I can check on that. I'm not exactly sure, but I know that things have shifted around a bit since COVID, and it'll be a little bit different session than normal. So I'm not sure how many legislators are going to be willing to support something during this COVID influenced legislative session. So I'll just have to find out. I'll have that answer by the October 12th board meeting.
Okay. I mean, I would feel comfortable holding, if we can, get an answer by that time, maybe the following Monday, or maybe that following week, just so we can strategize in case we have to get something in. But you're absolutely right. I mean, we have no idea what the legislative session is going to look like.
Vice President Baltazar, this is Leah Easter, Chief Compliance Officer. If you guys, I know, are talking a little about the dates between November 2nd. If October 26th works for everyone, that might be best for staff because we have a couple matters before the ALJ the week prior. So the 26th might be a good time if that works for the 4 members of that committee.
I'm open to it. I mean, if that works better for staff, then absolutely.
This is Kai Stanton. I support that.
So can we make a motion to set the date?
Okay, Leah, so just to make sure, you said the 26th works best for staff?
It does, yes, thank you.
Okay, Brian Baltazar, then I would like to motion to hold the meeting on the 26th of October.
Member Baltazar, that is for the law subcommittee, right? Just to make the record clear.
That is correct, for the law review subcommittee.
Yeah.
Latrell McCormick, I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Agenda item number G is a hybrid education subcommittee dates and committee members. The board is to select dates for hybrid education subcommittee and subcommittee members. I would like to be on that subcommittee. Gwen Bramo.
Yes. President Gwen, one thing that I want to mention is that we've had 3 different people asked to be on the committee that are outside of the board members. Just want to let those names out. Lou Suarez from Euphoria, Matt Brenton and Kathy Davis-Reese from NEMA, and Annie Safadi, Paul Mitchell, Las Vegas. So those are 3 that had contacted and said that they would like to serve on the committee as well, if you're wanting to have more members on the committee.
Can I first find out how many board members would like to be on that committee?
This is Kai Stanton. Madam President, I would like to be a part of that committee.
Latrell McCormick, I would like to be a part of the committee.
Victoria Negretti.
Okay, that's 4 board members. So Director Landry, my question to you is, how many members do you recommend on that committee?
I would keep the committee as small as possible because that's a quorum that you have to hit every time you have a meeting.
Yes.
But having other people as members of the committee, not members of the sitting committee, but just members of the committee that'll be heard, that can be as many as you want. I mean, and I would assume most of the schools who wanting to get going with hybrid education will probably attend the meeting. So the 3 that I mentioned and others would probably be good for being a member of that committee. And not a member of the committee, a participant in the committee.
Okay, right. I think the school owners and directors should be participating in that committee. But if I just have one question. I'm still a little confused. So with the school owner, the directors that want to participate in that committee, there's something I would like to actually
I can't hear you, Gwen.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Nope.
Okay.
I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so with the owners and or directors from other schools to participate in that hybrid committee, could we have some of those members to be actually contributing members to the committee?
They can be contributors, they can be participants, but if you want them on the committee, that increases the number of people who have to be at the meetings in order to have a quorum. So if you have 4 board members, you need to have 3 of them show up to have a quorum. If you have 4 board members and 4 members of the schools there, that's 8 people, then you have to have 5 there. So just know that as you keep increasing the number, to get a quorum, you have to have that to have a legal meeting. And if you don't have a quorum, you can't have the meeting.
Okay, so can I just make a recommendation? Because I know that I know for sure that Luz have always been there to participate in our meetings, and she's well-rounded and have the knowledge as well. And there's maybe another person or so that I would like to be a part of the committee. And then can we vote for, if that's possible, if we could vote for that, and any other owner or director that wants to participate can actually participate.
You can do whatever you like as long as it's legal, and Justin can tell you the legal ramifications of that, but you can appoint any member to the committee who wants to be a member of the committee, and you can welcome the participation of all the other schools into the committee, even though they're not a member of the committee.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so Justin, can you advise us on this one before we place a vote?
Sure, President Bremo. The only thing is the board, the actual board, right? The 7-member board can appoint whoever they want on a subcommittee. So there's nothing that prohibits you guys from having anybody from having someone who's not a board member serve as a subcommittee member. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, the OML would apply again for every single subcommittee member. So the whole quorum issue that Director Landry was talking about applies. The notice requirements still apply. The one thing that I don't know if this affects anybody, and I hope it wouldn't, is NRS 644A, the Cosmetology Board statute. As far as per diem payment for actions for the board, the statutes are specific that it's only for board members who can get paid. So if there's anybody out there who's not a board member on the cosmetology board, their participation on the subcommittee would be essentially kind of like pro bono. But if they are in the subcommittee, if the board decides that a member of the public would need to be a member of the subcommittee, they would still be upheld. They would still need to be in line with all of the legal requirements. Again, so.
Okay. Okay, so I think we definitely want to. I think we definitely want to open it up for other schools to participate. But I think that far as committee and having a quorum, I think we should probably allow 2 other committees, and I recommend one. It's up to the other board members to recommend the second one, so that it will be 6 of us on the committee.
So President Bremo, this is Justin again. So the way that would work then is if you would like to nominate someone to be on the committee who's a public person, you can throw that name out there. Whoever makes the motion would have to include that person's name if they would agree with you to have that person on the subcommittee. And then whoever also makes the motion would have to determine, or could determine and state whatever name for the second person if you just want to do 2 out of the 3.
Okay, tonight I would like to have a motion. Do I give the nominee's name and then ask for a motion?
You can have your discussion. So you're having your discussion right now as far as who you would like to have on the subcommittee. So you could throw your name out there as far as who you would like to have on as far as a public member. And then other board members can chime in to say who they would like or who they wouldn't like and so forth.
Okay, I would like to have Luz and Annie as, actually actual subcommittee members.
Okay, and then also just for the point of clarification for your discussion, so to confirm, you're also recommending a 6-member subcommittee, correct?
Yes, a 6-member.
Okay.
Any other
Brian Baltazar.
questions or comments from any of the board members?
Yes, Brian Baltazar. So I know we had some discussion, and if I recall correctly, at the last meeting, if I recall correctly, I think the majority committee understand that they have a vested interest in. I feel like having them part of the board, or the idea of having them part of the subcommittee, is to allow for them to have a vested interest in the development of the regulations and laws surrounding schooling. I absolutely cautioned against the appearance of bias by having 1 or even 2. I would not feel comfortable having any school part of that process, but if the majority would like to have them part of the process, then I would like the development of perhaps a rotating public seat. I just fear having a school there for any extended period of time, and I would feel comfortable with having perhaps on an annual basis those public seats to be rotated to different schools, so every school that is interested has an opportunity to participate, and we protect ourselves from the optics of bias or favoritism. And that would just be my suggestion.
And board members, sorry to interject again, this is Justin for the record. Similarly, with the law review subcommittee, members of the public, this is going to be an open meeting again, right? So if members of the public have input as far as what they would like to have seen recommended by the hybrid subcommittee to the full board, they're more than welcome to attend these public meetings because, again, they're public meetings. So that might be something also to keep in mind.
Okay, board member Bramo, so maybe we should do this, and I'm thinking too, because I have to disclose, I am a school owner as well. Maybe we have, but I'm not really a voting. I just want to be more of the implementation and the development of the process. Maybe we should look for another subcommittee member, just leave 1 seat open, and maybe one other school, leave 1 seat open for a person that is not involved in school aspect at all. I'm thinking that if we make sure we have it open and leave it open to where, as board member Baltazar stated, that I really don't want it to seem biased. We are looking out for the best interest of the student, the licensee, as well as the schools to be able to have a maybe not such a direct implementation, but the voice to be heard and be able to help us with even with the research. So can I want to hear from the board. What's some other recommendations from the other board members?
Madam President, I think that the conversation is going in the right direction on making sure that we're being compliant as well as open to the public, making sure that all information is correct. I have no comment at this time.
Board Member Douglas, I agree with Brad.
Okay, so can we do this? Can we just at this time appoint one person from a school and open it to all schools to participate? So I'm going to restate my recommendation. My recommendation is for you to sit on the from your foyer to sit on the committee as a committee member. And I do recommend that eventually, if we need to rotate, you can always come back to the board to do that. And then we can also ask for one outside person that's not affiliated with the board to sit on that committee.
President Brimo, I'm sorry to interject again. We could barely understand what you just said. You were a little choppy.
Okay, can you hear me now? I didn't do this, you guys. Who did this to me?
No, we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks.
Okay, I didn't do this on my own, Justin. I'm looking at you guys, but you can't see me.
Yeah.
Or hear me.
You gotta love technical advancements, huh, President Brimo?
Okay, so my recommendation, I want to go back on. I want to just. Okay, so I'm sorry. My recommendation would be, can you hear me now before I make the recommendation?
Yes.
Okay, my recommendation is to, with the 4 board members that's participating in the hybrid subcommittee, we have one other subcommittee member from a school, which is loose from Euphoria. All schools that want to participate can participate. That makes it 5. And then I would like to see, and the board can recommend one outside person that's not affiliated with the school.
So I would feel comfortable with that, with the board having the ability. And again, I'm not targeting any schools, and I'm not, I'm not anti-school by any means. I just want to always play fair and make it apparent that the board is always willing to have participation in a fair manner. But I also want the board the ability to rescind those public seats at any point that which the board may find it necessary.
Okay, so that's fair with that. Can we get a motion before we set a date?
Before a motion, I wanted to get a little clarity on what Brian was saying as far as, does that all need to be included in a motion right now, or are these things that we would form like the ins and outs at a later date? But as far as members, yes, but the rotating and terms and things like that, I need a little more information.
Board Member Bramo, I think it should all be stated at one time. If we are going to have a rotating position, it needs to be stated in our motion.
Brian Baltazar, I would support, again, a rotating on an annual basis, just to have everyone's input. That way, control is not concentrated, and always acting out of caution to have the committee board members the ability to rescind those seats at any point at which it may find it necessary.
This is Board Member McCormick. I'd like to make a motion to appoint 6 members to the or is that what I'm saying? Appoint 6 members to the Hybrid Education Subcommittee. Include 1 seat to be held for a public member. The ability to rescind and the appointment to the school position. I don't have the name.
It's News from Euphoria.
Of News from
Euphoria.
Member McCormick, I believe you're on mute, so if you approve your motion, I don't think we heard it.
Yeah, so this motion, did I say it right, or is there anything I left out?
As far as I got it for my clarification, you had indicated a 6-member subcommittee with 1 seat to be held for a public member and the ability to rescind an appointment to the school position, which you're recommending be filled currently by Lucille Suarez of Euphoria.
That is correct.
Okay, and then also just to clarify the motion, the 4 additional board members who would serve on the subcommittee would be President Brent Ramo, Member Tia Latrell McCormick, Member Secretary Treasurer Kai Stanton, and Member Victoria Negretti.
That is correct.
Okay.
Can I get a second?
Wait, point of clarification, are we implementing the annual rotation, or did we not want to do that? If not, I'm not going to get offended.
Oh, no, I thought that was the opportunity to my motion. I would like to amend my motion to include an annual rotation of school and public members.
Can I get a second, please?
Victoria Negretti, I second that motion.
Do you have anything to say, Justin, before we take a vote?
Sorry, President Brimo?
Do you have anything else you wanted to add before we take a vote?
No, that should be fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. So the next motion would be for a date.
So before we do that, just for the public, just so the public's crystal clear on what was voted on, Justin, are you able to recall what we just voted on, the composition and the caveats to that subcommittee, just so the public is crystal clear on what was voted on?
Sure, Member Balthazar, I will repeat that. So the board just voted on establishing a 6-member subcommittee called the Hybrid Education Subcommittee. It'll currently have 4 board members, President Bramo, Member McCormick, Member Stanton, and Member Negretti. Then there's 1 seat that will be held by a public member, and the other seat would be held by a school, and that is currently going to be held by Lucille Suarez of Euphoria. The motion also included a caveat that the board has the ability to rescind any appointment to the school position, and that there's an annual rotation of both the school and the public member position on the subcommittee.
I did want to make sure that we could rescind both the school and public, I think is what I stated.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, then if that was what was stated, I apologize if my note was incorrect on that one, but that's all I've got for the motion.
Okay, so the motion carried, right?
That is correct. It was moved by Member McCormick, seconded by Member Negretti, and all members voted in favor of it.
Okay, thank you. So now at this time, let's for a possible action on a date to meet, the first date, so that we could establish, the members, the documentation and things of sort. Do we have to have in this same committee, we have to set, to chair that committee as well, Justin?
Yeah, the subcommittee can vote on the chair at the time of the subcommittee, the first subcommittee meeting, like you guys will be doing for the law review.
Okay. So can we look at dates, please? Doesn't have to be on Monday, do it?
The date doesn't have to be on a Monday. It would be whatever date the subcommittee members would like to have it.
Madam President, I would like to make a suggestion. Given that we have a meeting in October on the 12th and the 28th, I would like to do the first, well, we don't have to do it on a Monday. It just appears to be a little easier. I'm not sure if the end, the middle, or the beginning of the week will appease the board, but November 5th, which is a Thursday at 9 a.m. Might be available, or November 2nd, which is that Monday, the very first week. So that gives us 2 weeks, roughly a full 2 weeks going into the third week from the 12th, and then just one more week it gives us from the 26th of the subcommittee. I do want to keep in mind, however, the staff needs some time to be able to process things accordingly. I know one subcommittee really is not disturbing the other. However, I just want time frames to make sure that things are accurate, to give them some time to make sure the process is done.
November 5th.
November 5th, okay. I don't know other board members.
It gives us a chance to get a public member recognized, and it gives us an opportunity to notify all the individuals that would be possibly interested in attending.
I would, so at this time, are we going to have a chair for the hybrid committee as well, just like we're doing for the law committee, or no?
Board Member Brema, we can discuss that at the first meeting.
Thank you, absolutely.
So can I get a motion for that? Does that timeline sound good for you, Leah?
President Bremo, Leah actually left the room for a little bit, but I'm looking at her calendar. It looks open, so I would defer to Director Landry if that's okay with him and his availability.
Yes, November 5th would be fine as far as scheduling. We'll keep the dates, staggered a bit, and that should be fine to put it on. The first agenda won't be as significant because you won't have the issues to be laid out. Once you get the issues laid out that you can be discussing, that's when we're going to have to put more information in on the dockets. But the first meeting will just be, you're going to elect a chair, you're going to discuss topics that'll be discussed at the next meeting, and that'll be about it.
Victoria Negretti, board member. What timing are we thinking? I'm pretty booked already that day behind the chair. So
Ms. Negretti, I was thinking 9 o'clock to have it so that it doesn't run into the rest of any Wednesday. But if that affects you directly, I'm completely open personally as a board member for other suggestions to fit everyone's schedule accordingly. Thank you for saying that.
I'm open any day that week. So is it 9 o'clock that morning? Board Member Negretti, is that good time?
I'm just booked already from 9 to 12 with clients. So I mean, I can always have it on speaker too. I mean, but I really don't want to do that because then I'm in front of a client. I don't know if that's like public knowledge and that's okay to do.
I don't know if that's going to be okay.
Member Negretti, so the meetings of the subcommittees are all public, and they're all welcome to attend. It's just every meeting of a subcommittee or the board is a public meeting, so it has to be noticed and the public is welcome to attend.
Okay, so we can do it at 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I can highlight and do it. Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Okay, wonderful.
Madam President, I would like to make a vote. I'm sorry, I would like to make a motion.
Go right ahead.
Madam President, I would like to make a motion to have hybrid subcommittee for November 5th at 9 a.m.
Board member.
Second.
Motion.
Second by who?
Douglas, board member.
Okay, Douglas, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So we have dates all set. Agenda item number H, procedure for future town hall meetings. The board will discuss and possibly approve the procedures for future town hall meetings. That's open for discussion. Any board members?
Brian Baltazar, so these town halls, are they going to be treated like almost subcommittee meetings? Because my understanding is that any collection of board members, if it constitutes a meeting, like how does that work out? That we ensure that we're not in violation of NRS, but I'm pretty confident, or I'm pretty certain that the board members want to interact with, practitioners and licensees, et cetera. So how do we ensure that we are able to be present and not in violation of any NRS statutes?
This is Executive Director Landry. I think Deputy Executive Director Higginbotham has some ideas, and he's done some research on the town hall meeting. He can present that to the board now.
Okay, wonderful.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Deputy.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. One moment, please. Okay, so this is a town hall meeting presentation that was requested by Board Member McCormick. The presentation will cover the town hall meetings, potential formats, topics, timelines, and considerations. If the town hall meeting is held before June of 2021, then the town hall meeting will most likely be virtual and held through Zoom as the delivery format. The questions and comments would be submitted online or through the chat feature that we can turn on for Zoom. And these questions, whenever they come in, they are reviewed to make sure they're appropriate, and the narrator would read the question aloud. The response would be provided by the applicable board member or staff if that was the part of the town hall meeting format. And then we would repeat until the allotted time was complete for the meeting. When Board Member McCormick and we worked together on this material, and at first we examined a generalized approach to the town hall meeting topics. We discussed that we have over 200 frequently asked questions covering 8 different categories, and that the generalized topics are covered and they're asked and answered on our website. So Board Member McCormick stated that she would like to have one of the town hall meetings more specific. And after some discussion, we were able to come up with an esthetician scope of practice clarification and potential expansion as a topic for the town hall meeting. But the topic would be a byproduct of what the law review subcommittee would be recommending for any possible law or recommendation changes. So the town hall meeting in this sense would be reaching out to a specific industry based on board member McCormick's licensing status. The town hall anticipated date, some things to consider are the regular board meeting schedules, the additional law review meeting schedules, and the hybrid law review meeting schedule. And since the town hall meeting would be a byproduct of what the law review meeting, it would be done afterwards. So once we move forward with the town hall meeting and getting the information provided by the law review subcommittee, the town hall meeting would be communicated to the AG, to the Attorney General's office representative, to ensure that our procedural matters are within law and to offer any other suggestions to make sure we're not in any gray area with this. And we also discovered some additional considerations as we continue to plan for a potential town hall meeting, like the number of participants, having additional meeting topics, date planning, time to research surrounding states for various laws, and town hall meeting planning time, town hall meeting planning team as well. And that concludes the presentation. I don't know if Board Member McCormick would like to add anything, but that concludes the presentation.
I would like to add anything. I would like to add something. Adam, thank you so much. And can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I've been asking for a town hall for quite some time, and I appreciate the clarity and being able to offer this because it is in the best interest of the public to not only be a part of a process, to just for us to understand, you know, and be able to get that feedback firsthand. What I will say is that the formation of this town hall, I hope will prompt more in the future because it is, I believe, an essential tool when we are structuring laws. For me, as an esthetician, I have watched our scope of practice pretty much be challenged by the everyday DIY and YouTube video. I have watched surrounding states allow estheticians to do services that give them a chance at really earning a livable wage. And they are demonstrating day in and day out their ability to do these things. So as an esthetician, I'm really looking forward to digging into the laws that we have now, the regulations that we have now, and just really understanding the scope of practice for estheticians. And this town hall is just one vehicle to do that. So thank you, Adam, and thank you everyone for getting this ball in motion.
Gwen, I think we can barely hear you if that's you.
Hear me now?
Yeah, that's a little better.
So at this time, do we have any other board members that have any other questions about the town hall presentation? I think it's a great idea. I think we have to find ways to be able to inform the public. And I think this way, you know, even when we're back, you know, to normal or what's look like normal, we can still probably have the Zoom, even we can have Zoom town hall meetings just to keep the licensees informed. So that's my take on it. Any other questions or concerns about any of the other board members?
No, this is greatly put together. This is amazing. I love the questions. I love the format. I love how everything will be organized very easily for the public to be heard, which is the utmost important, especially in the open meeting law, for all truths to be given to the public and keep their control. So kudos, absolutely amazing. Very well done.
Thank you. Board Member Sam, thank you.
So at this time, can we get a motion to possibly move forward for future town hall meetings?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the town hall format for future meetings.
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
President Bremo, I'd like just to make one comment. When you talked about moving forward, we may not be able to move forward with the town hall meeting until January, February, March, sometime in that time frame, just because of the holidays and all the other stuff that's going on. But we are definitely going to move forward with it. Just want to let everyone know that it's not going to happen next week, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order to get this moving forward.
Okay, I think it's just great that we're going to move forward with it. It's a great avenue and a tool, I believe, just to get the information out to the licensees. I think it's, better late than never. Right?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the clarification. Agenda item number I, serial communications.
President Bremo, sorry, I think that Lisa has some information on this one for you before you talk about it.
Okay, go right ahead, Lisa.
Lisa Nguyen, compliance specialist. So for agenda item I, State of Nevada board member serial communication policy, the board staff is asking to move to the later meeting.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that. I don't think do any of the board members have a problem or concern?
This is Kai Stanton. What is this for again? I'm confused. Did a board member ask for this to be added to the agenda, and then we're reviewing this for a possible adoption or amendment or adjustment? Is this regarding the one regarding mail communication?
This is Executive Director Landry. This is a topic that was brought up to be put on the board meeting. We didn't have enough time to do the research to get it all in on this meeting. We'd like to move it to the October meeting. And it covers voice, email, mail, any type of communication between and amongst board members, and how that can lead to serial communications. And when you have serial communications, that leads to potential open meeting law violations. So we'll have a complete presentation in October. We just didn't have time to get it all put together for this meeting.
Okay, so I just want to be clear, that was requested by a board member to go over review?
That's correct.
Okay. Was that me? Am I correct?
Yes, that was you.
Okay, I just want to be clear. We were on the same page. Okay. I didn't want, I'm like, wait a minute. But yes, it was concerning the mail part. Okay, yes, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move agenda item number I to the October 12th board meeting. Right, Lisa?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Agenda item number J, the board policy on agenda posting and timelines for board to review. So this is about the agenda procedure guide. Do we need any clarification, maybe?
This is Kai Stanton. At the very bottom, it says director or his designee will make the board aware of any necessary diversions of this guide. As far as, I just want to make sure where it says at times it may not be possible to give 5 days notice. What does that mean?
That just leaves for the emergency situation that may come up, that something has to be changed within 3 days, right before the board meeting, right before the board meeting is posted. It leaves some leeway to be able to do something like that. Most of the time, when we get to our regular board meetings, where we're having them every 3 months instead of every day, we're going to take and put the agenda out to the board members first, You'll have like 5 days to review and get back any changes you want to have on it. When those changes and all are reviewed and done, then the board will be able to be posted. That's going to be done at least 30 days before the meeting date. So we're gonna get to a more regular schedule like we had in the past, and that's what we're gonna follow. But that's the way we anticipated being, is that we would give all board members 5 days to review the agenda, at least 35 days before. At 30 days, the agenda is locked and we start moving forward with putting the agenda together for the board meeting.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't stating, you know, oh, we weren't able to let you know, but it's posted now. So I just wanted to have that clarification for myself. Thank you, Executive Director.
And also, if the board needs any additional time or wants additional comments, now's the time to discuss, because going forward, we're going to have a 30-day cutoff prior to the meeting starting, that we're going to cut all comments and all at 30 days. So that'll be the timeline. But you'll get the agenda 35 days before, and within 5 days you can review it, comment, do whatever, and put your recommendations on the agenda.
Okay, so I just want to be clear, 35 days. So that would be 5 days you would have to review, and within that first day, there's still 30 days that it is posted. Once it has been posted for 30 days, as soon as it hits the first day of those 30 days, you're saying that no one will be able to make any adjustments or suggest adjustments, even though it says that adjustments can be made 3 days prior to.
That's correct. The 3 days prior would be an agenda topic that doesn't require notification of the public more than 3 days. We have 30-day notification, we have 15-day notification, we have 3-day notification, maybe other notifications that Justin's aware of, but those are 3 of the big ones, and those are the ones we always follow. So if there's a small change that has to be done to an agenda item 3 days before, and we can post it 3 days before, we'll do it. But if not, we're going to be locked in at the 30-day time frame.
Mm-hmm. And locked in meaning we take a vote on that, or that's already in law?
No, that's already in law. You'll have made your comments, and that's it. It's the agenda is locked in, and that's what's going to be posted on the websites.
So so Board Member Gramo, so that's just the procedure guide that we're voting on.
The procedure already exists in the guides. You just wanted to discuss what the timing would be, because with COVID, we've had quite a few meetings now out of sequence to catch up. We're now caught up, and October will be the first real board meeting that's scheduled as a regular board meeting. The next one will be January. I don't anticipate having any of the board meetings between October and January. So we'll get back to our regular schedule now that we've caught up all the COVID, all the disruptions that COVID has caused. We've kind of gone through those now.
Okay, so that doesn't require a vote. Am I right, Executive Director?
You don't have to vote on it. If you want to make a change to that procedure, that 30-day procedure, or 35-day procedure, I should say, then you'd want to change that. If you want to just keep it that you're going to have everything reviewed by the 30 days before, you don't need to change it. It's already in the procedure guides, and you don't have to change it. If you want something different than that, that's what you have to vote on.
Okay.
Would you be okay with 15 days if operations were, I'm not sure if they're back in the room, but if something else happens, emergency wise, or anything happens as far as concerns, etc., that 30-day might be slightly problematic. Would you be opposed to 15 days?
Not as long as it was emergency measure, and not as long as it didn't require 30 days notice. Anything that requires 30 days notice, there is no changing. When it's posted for 30 days, it's going to be that agenda, that agenda topic. Anything that requires less than 30 days, if it requires 15 days or less, then we could take a look at if it's an emergency situation. Anything that's emergency, we'll definitely bring that up and allow that to happen. Just we don't want board members thinking that they can do something in 15 days when they could have done it when it was 30 days.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So within those 30 Within those 30 days, that totally makes sense because we want to make sure that moving forward, all agendas are posted properly. I do not believe in overloading or lack of information to create or to lure anyone to make any mistakes. So I do want to make sure that there is more than enough time for things to be posted accordingly so that the law is met perfectly moving forward. So if that's the stand, I totally can see how that does affect agendas being posted properly, all that other fun stuff. So this really ensures that laws being followed accordingly and giving staff more than enough time to make sure agendas are posted in the correct areas as well as formatted correctly. Am I correct, Executive Director Gary?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, in light of, concerns we've had in the past, I totally get it. Okay, well, that sounds like a solution. I mean, we just have to, all right.
I just wanted to make a comment. I believe, I think I kind of understand, I do understand the procedure and we have us having, the board having to have a guide. But then I also understand if something arises, we can always call, if it's an emergency, we can call for an emergency meeting, and that will fall within the 15 days. But we don't have to put that in the agenda procedure, do we, Director Landry?
No, we don't. Anything that's out of the ordinary, these are for normal meetings that already occur. If an emergency meeting comes up, totally different procedure. And that we're going to go through, mostly me coordinating with you, Gwen, to say that there's an emergency meeting needed. We need it on this date, and we'll get things rolling to let all the other board members know.
Okay, that's good. I don't have any other comment. Okay, I don't have another comment. So we can, if there's not another comment by any of the board members, can we move to the next agenda item? Is that our final item?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so agenda item number K is update on policy guides being reformatted into bylaws.
This is Executive Director Landry again. I just want to go over and let the board members know what's in your board packet, the procedure policy title and the procedure policy of bylaws. All of those are what we consider necessary to keep the operation running. So if the board has any changes they want to make to those guides as far as the titles, if you have more topics that you want to add to that, we can add to it. But these are the ones that we're going to start working on, assuming you want us to move forward. These are the ones we're going to start working on, putting them in bylaw format so that they're ready for you to review and approve. I expect that we'll probably do maybe anywhere from 50 to 100 at a pop. We'll go through them, let you take a look at the full bylaws, see what we've written, see if you have any changes to make. And then once those are approved, that'll be approved as a bylaw. We'll continue doing that till we get through all 415 of them. So we have a lot of topics, but that covers everything operationally that's outside of the laws and regulations. These are all the things that we do on a daily basis to make sure everything runs right. And you have direct access to all of that, and you'll have access to the writings as we do them. I think the first time you'll see it will probably be April, because it's going to take some time to get things done. We're approaching the holiday season, which means people are going to be out of the office a bit. I think by April we could have the first 50 to 100 ready for you to review, and then we'll go the next meeting, we'll have another 100, and next meeting we'll have another 100 for you to review.
Gwen Bramo, board member, I have a question, and it's a comment as well. I would like to see us remove the Nevada law, NRS and NAC out of the bylaws outline. And my reason for asking that is because the law book has already been approved by legislation, and it's already, I understand like why it's there, because it's what we have to abide by, but it's already in law. So I think it would be easier and less work for the board staff and the board members to have to go back to review when it's already in law, in NRS and NAC. So if we could keep the laws and regulations separate for licensees, and to me, when I see bylaws, I see organization, how my organization operates. And I just think the laws are already in place and they may change. Bylaws could possibly change, but bylaws to me and board members and staff, you have to help me with this. Bylaws to me means how I operate my organization. So can I get some direction from there?
Yes, that's correct. We can remove all references to NRS and NAC so that we don't have to worry about when laws change and when they have to be updated. We don't have to worry about going back to the bylaws to change them. The other thing is that the bylaws don't require any approval from anyone other than the board. The board approves the bylaws. You don't have to get approval from LCB. You don't have to get approval from legislators. You can do anything you want in the bylaws because the bylaws are everything outside the laws and outside the regulations. So we don't have to include any of the laws or regulations in the bylaws. We'll make sure we scrub those from the bylaws when we're putting them together, and you won't see any references to NRS or NAC. If we find that we have to refer some of that to NRS and NAC as we're reviewing it with Justin, then we'll make sure that we present it to you and say we had to include these 3 passages have to be put in because of X, Y, Z. I don't anticipate that happening, but if that happens, we'll make sure that we bring it before you to take a look at.
Thank you. That was my comment and my concern. I was reading through those. I'm like, this is hundreds. Director Landry, it was hundreds.
Yes, we sometimes get carried away with referencing things. So we'll make sure we don't reference the laws and regulations. But a lot of the stuff that we're going to be presenting to you will be exactly how we operate. You'll know what what your duties are and what our duties are and what has to be done as we go through all these, and also how things operate in a particular way. If there's something that you want to have changed, if we have some procedures you want to have changed, we can then call that particular section to be reviewed at the next board meeting and go into that section in detail. We can go into a lot of detail in that, and any section needs to be revised and go into that in more detail so we can get some of the viewpoints of the board members.
I did have one too. I wrote one down, that 1 or 2 that I would like to maybe see if we could do that, have it more in detail. I had, I think mine was mainly with employees. I had wanted to know, when we have employees as staff, do the employees have I would like to see in our bylaws that they have some type of rights to maybe what's their rights to appeal? If there's an employee that has that's maybe not, I don't know how to word this, but what I want to say is if we could get something in our bylaws to state that if an employee has a disagreement that doesn't agree with, if employees don't agree with, say, being terminated, say an employee was terminated, and the employee doesn't agree with the reason they were terminated, I would like to see something in our bylaws that directly gets that employee, get that employee will know automatically that this is the procedure in place, and if we have to take it before the board, they could possibly do that. I don't know if we have something like that in our policy.
We have something that covers some of that, but it doesn't speak directly to being terminated. We can take and beef that up. Any changes that you want to have done to what we're working on, just let me know and I'll have that incorporated into the document. But if you'll go through and just review what's in there, let me know what changes you want to have done. Those will be reflected in there. And then when we present to you, I can say, this was presented by, board member McCormick. This is presented by board member Bramo. This is presented by board member Stanton. All of you would have a chance to make comments, and the other board members will be able to see what changes are there and vote to approve it or not. That's the way we expect the process to go.
Okay, one other question too, Director. If there is any way that we could just get like a miniature outline of maybe 1 or 2 topics just to see, so that as we move forward, we have a good idea of what it's going to involve or detail, instead of just waiting till April and then we get, these bylaws that are like way maybe over what we're not, kind of like what I'm not envisioning. So is there any way, like if we say today that if you could get us some information on X, Y, and Z number bylaw, and then maybe it could be worked on. Maybe it could be worked on, and it could come before us again before the year is out, just of an example of what it looks like, so that we can be kind of like all on the same page. Because what my version of what bylaws look like, I'm not quite sure what they would look like for the board, because every organization is different, and it all depends on the size of the organization as well. And our organization is a large organization. So
Yeah,
I would hate to see staff work on all this when they didn't have to do as much. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. What we'll do is we can provide you in the January meeting, we can say, here are 3 different pieces we've worked on. This section, this section, this section. Here's what the bylaws look like, the way we interpret them. Then y'all can tear them up, you can change them, you can do whatever you want, and tell us the way you want them to look, and we'll reflect that in the bylaws going forward. Because I can tell you, we're not going to have a whole lot of time between now and December to work on the bylaws, getting the stuff done. But we could work on 3 different sections, present those to you at the next board meeting in January, and then you can rule on those. Say, we like the way these are, we don't like this, we want more of this or less of this, and that way you can have your say as to the way you want the bylaws constructed.
I think so. Thank you. Thank you. That sounds so much better, because I just hate to see all the work put into it and it doesn't require as much as being put into it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right. So I'm good with that.
Madam President. Oh.
Well, one more second and I'm done. So can we give like some topics, maybe 3 topics for the October meeting? And then it can be before us in the January meeting?
Yeah, we were going to just pick 3 at random. If you have specific ones you want us to work on, we can work on those first if you want.
Yeah, mine is employees. Process and procedures when employee is hired, and when from all the way from the time they're hired until they leave, or until they're terminated, or until they resign, or whatever it may be, just what the employee portion looks like.
That's going to be a lot more than 3 sections. When I talk about 3 sections, I'm talking about like licenses, complaint hearings, any one of those lines of the 415 we have listed on here. Those, we picked 3 of those, 3 topic lines, and we'll do those.
Employee appeals. Can we do employee appeal procedure?
Yep, I'll check and see where that is and put that in.
Okay.
Madam
Any other ones
President.
you want?
Yes, I would like to also review the financial process and determination on the process of financial for the board, for the public account. I do have a question. I'm not sure what this is called flexible spending accounts. I don't know how to ask for a bylaw for that. What does that mean? That's on page 3, bylaw 202, right under retirement health insurance benefits.
Okay. I'm not sure what that is either, but I can take and research it. We'll do the write-up on that one also.
Okay. I have a question. Is there any way, I have looked at some bylaws and some of them, and as the president has stated, every agency is different due to the fact that they have a large or small or what have you. But there are some bylaws that are very basic, very simple. It highlights the overall review, kind of like the open meeting law. It's 191 pages, but it just houses the information, the statutes, the regulations, etc., of what's going on. And because that the bylaws really are not to be changed so frequently, I would like to condense it to very minimal, just covering the basics, because as was stated, we already have manuals and guidelines, etc. Unless what we're saying is the bylaws will take the place of all manuals, guidelines, etc. that is currently in place, which may cause a challenge, especially when you're dealing with the process of hair braiding establishments. That may change. The way inspectors inspect, that may change. Investigations, the complaint hearings, those are the things that are easily changed, or things that we can adopt to accordingly. I would like to possibly leave all those out. And once the NRS or the NACs or what have you is completely away from the bylaws, what does that look like? Will that leave us with maybe 5 topics, which would be great? That would look like financial, employee, description of, title, etc. Just very overview basic that we know will not change. Meaning 7 board members, that's what it is. We will have it, an executive director, that's what it is. Operations manager, that has to all be in place. So that's kind of what I'm looking for with bylaws. That's not something that's continual and interchangeable. 101, when we're incorporating handbook and policies, we have to change that frequently because yearly something happens to where we have to make an adjustment by law. So those are the things that I just want to point out, that we need to be very careful. We do not want these type of things like the handbook and all that stuff in bylaws. That's going to lock you into something that may not be feasible for the public and the agenda for the public for this agency. So when we're talking about bylaws, we need to just house the basic structure of how the board and board staff functions, the full details of like payday, rate of pay, all that fun stuff may be adjusted as well. So those are the type of things that do not need to be in bylaws. Once again, bylaws cannot be adjusted so frequently. So I just want the board to have a view of that too. And hopefully you can help us to condense all of this down. And once it has been done, Gary, we're probably looking at maybe 5 or 6 titles. I've seen bylaws where there are maybe 30 pages. So that's all that's saying. We're just housing it. We're not making any of this permanent because a lot of this will be changed yearly. So those are some challenges with having over 400 some odd bylaws, that this is going to be problematic. A lot of this is not even bylaws.
The way we came up with this, and the reason we came up with this, was because of the suggestion from board member Baltazar, where he wanted to have everything that we did, every process that we do, everything all looked at and approved by the board in bylaws. If you don't want to do that, we can do that too. But I need to get some direction. If board member Baltazar is going to be, going this route, and board member Stanton is going the other route, they need to meet somewhere in the middle and come up with something. So that's something we have to look at. On this document is everything that we do. So if you don't want to look at everything that we do, we don't have to do that. My impression from the last meeting was that you wanted to look at everything we do and have everything lined out. If that's not what you want to do, we can accommodate that also. I just want to make sure that we're not going to get some flack from board members when we do that, that says, I want to look at everything. So you discuss among yourselves and give me direction. We'll do that, do whatever direction you want to head.
Thank you so much, Executive Director. I'm so glad you said that. So the spirit of this, I do believe that all board members, well, I shouldn't say all. I do believe that I'm on the same page regarding board member Brian. I think what's happening is, just as you said, and this has happened before, and it's okay. It's very important that we have clarification on what's happening, because sometimes more work is created because lack of clarification. And so I'm so glad that you're willing to take a review of this. And as you said, we wanted to review it all. I don't think that the spirit of that was to merge it all together in bylaws. I could be completely wrong. Board member Brian is on the call. I would like to ask for his suggestion, because I may be very well wrong, and I have no problems with taking accountability of a misunderstanding, because I am all about transparency and getting things correct and simplicity. So board member Brian, can you please help me out? Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Can you clarify this, please, sir? Board member Brian, is he there? Oh, did we lose him?
I'm not sure.
He's still on the call, but.
Board member Baltazar? Maybe he had to step away.
Okay. Well, I apologize, Executive Director. That clarification is very important. We don't want time placed somewhere else when it can be utilized elsewhere. And I am going to lean towards Baltazar to make sure that I'm even correct on the process.
And we don't, the board staff doesn't have any idea or any purview on which way it should be done. We just want to do it the way the board wants it. So whenever you all come up with whatever route or whatever we need to be doing, we'll do it. But there's two different views right now. I just want to make sure we're getting one view, and we're going to go down that one path.
And I can see how that's confusing. Absolutely. I know there are some templates that are already created. You can see that through the law, where it really already has the article broke down, the bylaws, and it says board bylaws. Very easy, very basic template. You just plug in the information. I think it's about maybe 20 pages, something very easy. I cannot speak anything further on another board member's, behalf. So I'll turn it back over to the president at this time. Thank you, Executive Director.
Okay, so is Baltazar, are you back? Okay, so I think we just have to get clarification, but if we could possibly, far as the work that's going to be involved in every bylaw, Director Landry, if we could just use that one for an example until they kind of work through what it needs to look like. But I know that every subject and every bylaw is not doesn't have to be in the bylaw, in the actual bylaws of the organization. So if it just take maybe just that one, and we can get an example for the October meeting, if that's not too much for the staff at this time, just the one, so we can have an idea, because what I would hate to see is the staff put all this work in and
I don't think we're going to have one ready for the October meeting. That's very quick to try and get that done.
Okay, well, can you have it ready for the January?
Yes, definitely for the January meeting. And what we'll do is we'll put this topic on the October meeting to be discussed again if Board Member Baltazar doesn't come back, if he's not able to speak now. But if
I'm
we'll put
sorry.
it on, oh, there we go.
I stepped away.
Okay.
Can
We
we
were just
recap? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were just discussing, Member Baltazar, there was some discussion on you wanted to have complete documentation in the bylaws of everything we do, every process, everything. And Board Member Stanton was talking about doing a high-level bylaw and not getting into all the details. So I just need to know what direction to go. And she wanted to know your opinion on how much detail needs to be done. Then she can talk about what she would want as far as how high level she wants it done. Because we need to get some agreement by the board members as to what these bylaws are going to look like.
Board Member Baltazar, my statement was bylaws are not interchangeable as often. They can be, but it takes a while in process. And I was explaining my point of view, which I thought was the same spirit as creating a bylaws that houses the information that is already there in a short paragraph form, but still explaining the basics, such as how we can refer to an open law meeting process from Attorney General's open meeting laws to make sure that we are compliant. So with the bylaws, I was explaining there's some challenges implementing cosmetology establishments, maybe the way a hearing is, I mean, not hearing, but a sunset review or goals change frequently, things of that nature, certain operations. So I was just saying that there's maybe 5 core things that we know are not interchangeable. We have to have 7 board members. We have to have operations, a staff, X, Y, and Z. Just pointing out things that have to happen in order for the board to be strong and functional, such as the financial department, such as, maybe descriptions accordingly as needed. But we know for a fact that they don't change out frequently. So that leaves us with about tops, the most, maybe 10 categories. I just wanted to know your review on this because I was not sure if I'm communicating this correctly. I know that over 400 and some odd bylaws will be problematic, especially when we're looking at certain things that may be able to change frequently for the best interest of the public, as well as what has transpired regarding this industry and getting those back to work accordingly. So what was your review and your spirit of implementing these together so that we can all make sure that we're giving the proper communication to the executive director?
So I feel comfortable. We're not going to get a
Member Baltazar,
I'm sorry, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, it keeps on connecting to Bluetooth things and such. I completely understand. We're not gonna, my understanding is that we're not gonna get it completely hammered out and right the first time. Just like anything, it's gonna be a process, and as the years go by, every subsequent board is going to add and subtract and so forth. So I'm comfortable with creating maybe a more generalized bylaw structure, with the idea that revisions will always be made or can potentially be made down the pipeline. So I apologize. I don't expect or believe that we'll be able to be incredibly detailed the first time out, and nor do we want to restrict what we can and cannot do to the point that we're inflexible. So I completely am comfortable with what in that effort.
Thank you, Board Member Baltazar. Executive Director Gary, what I'm looking for really is just to reflect something to support exactly how the open law meeting reads. Example, the breakdown of our descriptions. I do believe boards need to go over that, and that needs to be revised. The executive director's position, that needs to be revised. Operations, that needs to be revised. This needs to be in the law book. The process in which finances are charged and done and approved accordingly. Because we are funded by the public, we want to make sure that in general, no matter what board member is in seat, is that the open meeting law is followed, and that we are governing and supporting that as well. And that should just be a generalized statement to support exactly what's already in place. We can also do adoptions later on if any board member in the future feels the really strong necessity to do so to support the public. I'm looking at this is making sure that our articles are very simple, very easy to read. As was stated, the public is the board. And so as there are rotation of different things, we want to make sure that things are simple to understand, because it has been stated that judgments by boards and board members require a good working knowledge of their state practices acts in their entirety, particularly when considering the establishment of rules and regulations to be adopted by a board in order to implement the act. And in order for us to be aggressive in that, we need to make sure that the understanding is very clear, very easy, and then go into further detail as board member has suggested. But because boards have signed waivers and things of that nature, we need to further make sure that it is very clear that we are signing and supporting what we all agree to and fully understand that in its entirety. And that's what I'm looking for, that in bylaws, something that is not flexible, but still very understood on the function and day-to-days. And what's good for the board is also followed by staff. And I think that would clear up a whole lot of things, misunderstanding, simplicity and transparency. I'm in love with that. Super easy. So giving all that, I would like to turn it back over to Madam President. Thank you.
Okay, so.
One thing, this is Executive Director Landry again. One thing I'd like to get clear is, how big of document do you think this is going to be? This could be a 30-page document, a 50-page document, a 20-page, what size, about what size? Then I can work in the sections that'll be in there. And then we can have that for the January meeting, where you'll have a more compact and readable version of what the bylaws would look like.
30 pages would be great. This is Kai Stanton, I apologize. 30 pages would be great. Very simple, very basic. My goal, or I don't think anyone's goal, is to overwhelm anyone. And because that statement is made, if operations, I wanted to speak with operations as well to see, does the board need to temporarily add support to operations so that this can be done effectively as the operations see fit? We are not asking for, I am not asking for anything to replace anything. I'm just giving operations extra support. Does operations need extra temporary support to get done? Because there's a lot on their plate right now. They're willing to do it. I'm quite sure they'll get it done 110%. I don't deny that. I just think that if we can simplify some things for them, that probably would be in their best interest, but I don't know. I haven't asked. Just some temporary help, not full-time, just as needed. When we have things like this beef up with COVID and bylaws and statute, is that something operations is interested in, that the board needs to vote on to give extra support in that area while all these things are being done, just for some temporary support?
Okay, and I get what you're going after, and I think I know about what to do. Right now I have the board, employees, operations, and finances, 4 topics. Do you need a 5th topic, or is those 4 fine?
I would like to lean on board members to communicate. Does that sound sufficient according to the requirements in what we need collectively? And also, Executive Director, do you think it's important to talk to operations about this on what they need? As far as further support that we need to vote on to get them whatever they need for support?
I think it'll be important after we present the first piece to the board and we know how big this will be. If it's gonna be 30 pages, I can tell you, we won't need much support because we'll probably put that together pretty quick. If you're gonna keep it to 30 pages, that's gonna be a very quick document to put together. If it gets to be longer and larger, like we were considering with all this stuff, then it might take more staff to be able to put it together. But the 30-page document won't be a big deal. We'll get it prepared, what the outline will look like. We'll get a section prepared so you can see what we want to do format-wise. And if any of you have any formats that you've seen online, like formats you just plug in, send it to us and we'll look at those and utilize those as best we can.
Okay, I'll send those over to you. There's actually multiples that are very.
So just for clarification, the bylaw handbook, I guess let's call it, will be still used in conjunction to the other supplemental books or handbooks, or are we thinking of implementing those other handbooks within the bylaw handbook, or is it going to reference
Hey, member Baltazar, this is Justin. I think you broke out.
look at this? How are we going to, what? I'm sorry. I was just wondering if we're going to encompass all the handbooks into this one bylaw handbook, or if we're going to make reference to other handbooks.
So the spirit of what I'm thinking is to reference to those handbooks as needed, because those handbooks are a lot easier to interchange out if needed, according to maybe disasters, or maybe we just have 20,000 applicants versus 40,000 applicants. Staff needs to dwindle down accordingly because we just don't have that. I mean, there's very reasons why certain things may or may not happen. And so I want to be able to have that ability to change the law, adopt accordingly, regulations. I don't think that it's important to merge in an NAC and NRS that we need to address or easily change out due to a challenge that we did not foresee. Bylaws can just basically constitute the foundation and house what we are doing. If there's any discrepancy regarding, for example, maybe an investigation, and we're figuring out that approach and that investigation is not the safest for our inspectors. We need to have a better investigation, X, Y, and Z process. That would be easier to change out versus bylaws. Bylaws are not, they do not have an expiration date. And as stated, it would take once every 2 years to be able to have that adjusted. So if we need something adjusted immediately, it may be a little bit more of a challenge.
Okay.
But that doesn't,
now, as far as, oh no, go on. Go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say that doesn't, executive director was very clear that he's willing to put all the categories we are requesting through the bylaws. So if there's 10 particular topics and articles we have to have in there in order for just regular function that coincides with the open meeting law, because that is not interchangeable. That's something that would be a bylaw. Things that are a day-to-day or a state board accordingly, those things that can remain in regulation if it appeases the board. I just would like to see some simplicity. I'm not looking for the bylaws to change at all, to be honest with you. Just to adhere to the needs of the public and to adhere to the board understanding full process and implementing what is needed for the public. And so that's why I want those bylaws there. I think it's something that should highlight sketched in stone, such as the statement that was just made for the practices and the acts in its entirety regarding the board's requirement and the board's function. That's super important to have in there. There's another one that's stating regarding to everyone needs to be informed to remain in control of the very tools that they've created. That is board also and public. So those things need to be highlighted. It just sets precedence on how board should function, period. And that's and everything else kind of breaks down. So we can always say refer to NAC, XYZ, law book X, Y, and Z, but we can still have the power to alter that accordingly.
Okay, no, that makes sense, because obviously the more detailed that we are, or the more data that we want to include in the bylaw handbook, then the larger the pages are. But if we're still going to use them in conjunction with the other books, then yeah, just an excerpt, just saying reference NAC or NRS would suffice. I also do not want to overwhelm staff by any means. Obviously, we want to take into consideration their needs as well. We do not want to burn them out with these requests, and of course, these requests aren't being made either to burn them out. It's to allow for a better functioning and better informed and ultimately a more capable board, which is really, the aim here is to not overburden staff by creating a more informed board, because sometimes we haven't always moved forward with, I know I haven't always moved forward in a position where I've had all the information. And so, this is a position where everyone continues to grow in. And I think the more capable that we are, hopefully the less burden that staff is. But again, I don't want to overburden them either, and we want to be realistic with our requests.
Thank you, board member. I do appreciate the understanding, and I appreciate staff. I think staff is more than willing to put in the hours as required. I just want to make sure that we're utilizing the hours as required to make sure it's effective. Adjustments will come as stated, and I think it'll be highly successful if we can horn in on just maybe 10 topics tops. Your idea is absolutely amazing, and I would love to see if formats if needed, X, Y, and Z. And I encourage all board members to please send the executive director on topics of bylaws. Now, understanding bylaws do not have an expiration date. So if you're suggesting something to the executive director, please make sure it encompasses generalizing as a whole. So we really need that. I know I only have two categories. We can go in further. I've reviewed a couple of articles and what bylaws look like and the full breakdown. I encourage all of you to do the same so that we can be effective on the next meeting. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay, so I believe, can you hear me?
Not well, Gwen.
Okay, for some reason, can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay, so we don't need a motion for to move forward with the bylaw outline, do we? Because we've made those modifications.
That's correct. I'll have an outline at the January meeting, and it'll pretty much show what the outline of the document will be. And it'll have a section or so of what we're going to be doing, so you can see that we've got the right format, we've got the right everything. I'm sure it'll be modified and adjusted a little bit, Then once we get that, we'll have the remainder of it, 30 pages, we'll probably have that done by April, latest July.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So board members, if there's any other topics in the bylaw outline that you're interested in, you can always maybe if we can put maybe just a final bylaw outline recommendation or suggestion for the October meeting, so that we won't have to hear any board member saying that they didn't have the opportunity to look at it, and we can just move forward. Is that possible, or do you prefer to be emailed, Director Landry?
It'd be better if they email me. That way I could get all the information and have it in one spot. But whatever means they want to communicate is fine with me.
Okay. I mean, email sounds good to me as well.
President, this is Kai Stanton. I think email is great because then executive director can always go back and refer. That way, if anyone says, I didn't know, I didn't say that, he can always refer back to email and say,
okay, thank you. So we're done with that. We're done with agenda item number KL, comments from the general public. The board will entertain comments from the general public for any item that is not or is published on the agenda and is related to the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology. No action can be taken unless it's included in the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Do we have any comments?
Yes, hi, this is Zani Safari from Paul Mitchell, the School, Las Vegas. I don't know if it's a little bit more of a clarification or a comment, I'm not really sure. I thought that today we were going to talk about the emergency practical that was being allowed, that the letter the last time went to the governor. And then the committee that we were setting was for the permanent hybrid. So I'm kind of confused because I thought we were trying to be allowing under the emergency situation, that's what was up for discussion or review, that we would be allowed to have our students do practical during COVID.
We have not heard back from the governor yet on the emergency regulations that we sent him. And
Okay.
we'll probably send him another request to find out where it is and where he is with that. But this meeting was to set up the permanent subcommittee
Okay.
to move forward with the regulations.
Okay, so we're still waiting to hear about the emergency.
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you guys for this meeting, and congratulations, Lou, for getting on the committee. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Any other comments from the general public? No comments from the general public. Any comments from the board members for discussion only?
I just wanted to mention one quick thing. Do not forget, we have another board meeting, our real board meeting on October 12th. So mark your calendar and get ready. October 12th is our next board meeting.
Okay. No other comments from any of the board members? Since there's no comments from the board members, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting for September 28th.
A second, please.
This is Board Member Harris. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a good day.